All right, so grateful for Ian Blink MacDonald traveling all the way down from Scotland for the podcast. We're talking 12 years in 18 different prisons, not just prison stories though. We're talking knife fighting, bombs, gun crime, and a bank robbery for £6 million, which was almost $10 million back then, that went wrong. Now, in my podcast, I like to get straight into some of the most gripping stories. So, with Ian here today, how did this bank robbery come about?
Well, it came about, I was 30 years of age at the time, Shaun, and I'd had a pub in Glasgow, and I'd had a kid at 2 years of age. Things were doing well, but I wasn't in the major league of criminality. I'd only done 18 months up to the age of 30, and a friend of mine who was on the run for HMP shots in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
He went out in a butcher's van and he was on the run for 3 years, and he just appeared, and he says to me he had this bank job down in Torquay, down in Devon in England.
Mm-hmm.
And there was possibly £6 million there. It was a NatWest bank on the Strand in Torquay, and he says, would you like to be in the team? And I was virtually saying yes, and then he says to me, well, look, there's still a bit of research and things to be done, and he says, I'll give you a couple of months to think about it. This was around about March 1991, and Mick Keeley's name is, he returned back at the end of April, and he says everything's ready to go in May. He says, I says, not a problem, I'm in. I always wanted to be a millionaire for 30, and this was my big chance. So there was no hesitation in me agreeing to do this job.
Because you'd previously done some robberies. One of the things I read in your book,
Yeah.
Blink, there was like a £300,000 one. I think
Yeah.
your cut was like 70,000.
Yeah.
So you knew the routine, and
Yeah, I
you
knew
were
the
confident
routine,
about
and
this.
Yeah, I'd done post offices and banks and
Jewellery
shops when I was younger. I'd graduated all the way through for jewelleries to taking boxes off of security guards and post offices, banks, and as you say, £75,000 was one of the cuts.
Yeah.
And so it was things like that. It wasn't hundreds of thousands I was getting. So
Yeah.
I always I had this dream of being this millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Mick turns back up, and gave me a couple of days' notice, and he says we're ready to go in May. And there was sixes for Glasgow, and me and Mick's brother, our job was to take the guns, handcuffs and things down with 2 holdalls.
What guns were you using?
We were using a pump action shotgun,
Okay.
and we were using a pistol.
Yeah.
So we were a revolver. So we had these in the 2 holdalls. So we decided we would travel down by train.
Mm-hmm.
It would be less of a chance getting caught and driving down. And Mick and the other boys, they were already down there. And so we travelled. We got a taxi and we were going through this park we decided not to go to Glasgow Central Station because there was too many police and all the rest of it. So we went to this Motherwell train station. We got on there, but before we got there, we were nearly caught. Before the job even started. We were driving through this park in Strathclyde Park, the taxi, and the next minute a motor outrider, a copper, came up, and he waved us down, and I says to my pal, I says, for fuck's sake, I says, we're done already and we've not even got to Glasgow. But the guy just went like that, slow down, you're going too fast.
Wow.
And the taxi, so the two kind of waved her brow and went, fuck. So maybe that was a good sign. So but we got to the station, and we got from Motherwell to London, and we walked about these bags, and there was armed coppers and all that, and we were walking by them, and I think we went to Exeter or somewhere, and we got off the train there, and Mick and one of the other boys came and met us in the cars. They says, right, we've set up a base in Torquay. For viewers don't know where it is, Torquay's in Devon, and there's a place called Painting in Brixham. Brixham's a fishing village, so it's Torquay, Painting and Brixham. So we were based in Painting, and Mick had already hired 2 caravans. So what happened then was my thing, my missus at the time came down. She came down a few days later, with my boy.
Did she know what was going on?
She didn't at the beginning. I just told her to come down for a holiday. And at the same time, Mick Keeley, as I told you, he was on the run for 3 years. Mick says he'd been in London and had met this girl, Natalie Baby, from Montpellier. And he says, look, I'm going to phone this girl up and ask her, does she want to come for a holiday? I says, for fuck's sake, Mick. I says, so he phoned Natalie up and she says, can I bring my sister Sandrine? So the two of them came. So we were in this holiday caravan park, just kind of about our normal business, but we're reconnaissing the bank, and it was 3 stories high, and it was just near the marina. It was on the Strand, but while we were doing this, we said we'll take our time, a week to 10 days. So while we were doing this, I even went to the zoo with my son and all that while we were doing that, but mostly we were planning, right, how are we going to get in here? And at the time, there wasn't a lot of alarms in banks. The alarms were just on the vault. So our plan was to break into the place, and that's what happens. After about 10 days, we says, right, we'll go. But 2 days before it, two of my co-accused, Robert Harper and Thomas Carrigan, we'd been in a car, and one of stupidly threw a crisp packet or something out of the car, and the police stopped us and asked us our names. I gave my brother Gary's name. So when we get back to the caravan, and Thomas and Robert, they says, look, we've got a bad feeling about this. We've already been stopped. It was 2 days to go to the bank. They says, we're going to go, and we says, fuck it. So they two, Thomas stayed up in Norwich at the time, and but they went up and done their own thing, which I'll explain later.
So someone threw a crisp packet. Let me just explain that for the American viewers then. Potato chips.
Yeah.
Someone threw a packet of potato chips out of the car.
While we were reconnaissing the bank.
And the police stopped you because of that bag.
Yeah.
And that spooked some of your guys.
That spooked some of them, yeah.
Wow. I like how you've got the camouflage though of the tourist stuff going down with the family members.
Yeah.
But now you've got.
But see, when the French girls came down as well, it was so unreal, because they're thinking they're doing for a holiday.
Yeah.
Because Mick's not told them.
Yeah.
And her and her sisters based herself in the caravan with Michael and James.
Because you can't tell them, because they become co-conspirators.
No, we couldn't tell them. But
yeah.
Sheila ended up finding it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because my plan, Shaun, if I was getting away with the robbery, Sheila can speak Iranian. She used to be married to an Iranian.
Yeah.
And her plan was to get into London, and she was going to open up a safety deposit, put the money, go back to Glasgow.
Right.
But my original plan, as I says, I wanted to be a millionaire, and I was going to go to Spain and open up a nightclub.
Yeah.
So getting back to the bank, so we decided we're going to break into it. So
have you got all your men, or have you lost some, or have you replaced some?
No, there's 4. No, we never replaced
down
them.
To 4.
And
down to 4.
We changed the plan. So we did, and so we're down to 4, and they 2 are away, and so we broke into the bank.
When you say broke in, what do you mean?
There was a back door. There was a back door in the bank.
Yeah.
And we drilled it. And we got in through there. There was no alarm of that. There was no alarms on the floor of the bank. It was 1991.
Right.
And there was just as I say, at the back of this bank, it was a huge bank. It was a holding bank for the whole of Devon and Cornwall. And Mick had done his homework, and we reckoned there was £6 million there in the vault. And our idea was to tie them up and that. So the bank was broke into, and there was a construction. There was a hole constructed just below a staircase, and that faced onto the vault. And the plan was, and it was a hidey hole, so it was, Shaun.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell your viewers the picture as well, I was in the bank the first night when we broke in, and when my pal came to see me up at the pub, he says, listen, Ian, he says, I know you're game to get into the bank and blah 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 blah, you've done all this before. He says, but listen, see if you agree, because he was struggling to get people to do this. He says, see if you agree. He says, you can be the driver, you can sit outside. He says, because I know you won't think me drive away. And I went, fuck, say it. I says, I'm willing to get into the bank. So that made it the answer for me when even say the answer was always going to be yes, but when Michael says that and I says fuck, it's a definite yes. So I went into the bank the first night and there was three levels, and up the stairs there was pool tables, and the boys were playing games of pool and that. But they constructed a hidey hole at this staircase, and the three of them could fit in. And I went back to the caravan, Shaun, about 3, and I was sitting watching the Sweeney.
The old crime show, the Sweeney.
Sheila sleeping, and I have to get back at 8, the back of 8, and sit outside at a designated place and waiting them coming out with them. I thought, going to do this robbery, it's a goer. Because if you think you're not going to get the money, well, so you say, I just thought 100%, I'm going to be a millionaire, and that's it. This is my big opportunity. So what happens? Briefly, what happened in the bank? Mick and that, they had a wee spy hole, and they could see right into the vault. So the staff came in, and they opened the vault. And as soon as they opened the vault, a couple of people went into the vault, and they came out with a trolley. So they thought, right, jackpot, bust it. So they bust it, rounded everybody up. But one of the boys have ran into the vault, and there was a treasury grill gate, it's called, where the money was, and that was locked. They just brought out credit cards and things like that, Shaun. And so everybody was rounded up. There was about 14 to 16 people rounded up in the bank, and they were all lying in a group, and they were getting shouted at, where's the fucking key? And the bank manager, I think his name was Brian Thomas. This is 27 years I'm going back, and I'm sure his name was Brian Thomas. He was trying to say, look, cool down, I'll get the person who's got the key, Roy the chief cashier, is late for work. And see, when it transpired, Shaun, when we went to the Old Bailey and all that, I was playing later, Shaun, Roy the chief cashier was asked, how long have you worked in the bank? He says 7 or 8 years. He says that was the first time I was late. So it just wasn't meant to be. So their busy thing, and the guy was trying to say, and see, because of our Glasgow accents, I told Shaun before I started the programme that when I was in prison, I used to speak in my Glaswegian, and after 2 years nobody could understand me. So all the English prisoners, they used to just nod, and so I'm going to speak polite today, and so the viewers can kind of understand me, because if I was to speak my native Glaswegian, nobody'd understand.
I had a guy on from Manchester recently, and he said grass, and all the Americans thought that was marijuana, but grass in the English prison system is snitch.
That's right.
So yeah.
So you've got to. So that's how when you told me it's kind of going to go to America and things like that. Well, I says right, polite. So anyway, getting back to the bank. Mick just had enough, and in transcripts they were saying, because of our Glaswegian accent, that's how I mentioned this. Michael says it came out in the depositions, some of the witnesses, the bank staff, thought we were Jamaicans or Italians because of the thing with the accents. But Mick ended up grabbing the manager, took him straight in, put the shotgun to his head, says, look, no fucking about here, get that fucking opened. And the guy was still trying to say, look, the guy's late for work, it's got the key. And but he wasn't having any of it. Then Mick discharged a firearm into the ceiling. And popular to belief in the press in Scotland, when there's anything mentioned about this, because there's been loads of things mentioned about this bank robbery and our careers after that, there was a girl shot in the head. But I would like to put it right just now. There was the girl wasn't shot in the head. The shotgun was fired into the ceiling, and a bit of plaster came down, and it hit on the head. And I was asked many years later for somebody for the Torquay Herald, get a phone call, but to show remorse and all that for this girl and that. And I says, yeah, because she gave a victim impact statement. So that's what happens. And Mick and the other two guys just decided, well, it's time to go, because they thought they were playing, see, when they were sitting in the group, they thought they were playing pass the parcel because he's gone, who's got the keys on? He's got it.
Yeah.
But, so they were just fucking about, and we were there for high stakes. We weren't into rob Woolworths, which is a sweet shop in Glasgow, and Britain. We were here for high stakes.
Yeah, 1.5 million each. Now there's only 4.
And but when they came running out and all that, I could see there was no bags, because they took bags and all that in with them. And I just put my head down and I said, something's went drastically wrong here. So we get back to the caravan site, and little did we realise, one of the changeover cars, there was this painter and decorator, and because Torquay's it's a snobby place, it's a well-to-do place, and people are noticing things. So this painter and decorator had took the number down of this car, and because we'd already had another car, we had a BMW that was stolen, and the other car was hired, and I think Michael had a false driving licence, so that was taken, and it was at the caravan site. So I've got back to the caravan site, and Sheila says to me, "Where's the money?" I says, I says everything's went topsy-turvy. No got it. And she went, fuck's sake, yous are hopeless shoes lot. So I was gutted, Shaun. I was really gutted. I just thought 1,000,000% that this was my big chance. And so I says to Sheila quite calmly, I says, make a breakfast. And she says, make a breakfast? She says, this is serious shit. But see, because we never get the money, Shaun, there was something in my head that was kind of a saying, well, we never got the money, it's easy Ozzy. But little there's a gun fired. We've travelled down from Glasgow, but we've more or less travelled to the other side of England. It's a long way to go, and it was all planned. So whether we get that money or didn't get the money, this was a serious offence.
Yeah, they're going to come after you fast.
Yeah, so but I'm sitting lazing about, and the two French girls and Mick Keeley's get back to the caravan, and he says, look, he says, I've left 2 bags of excess stuff. I says, me and James Sealer says, well, I thought you'd get rid of that. He says, I did. He says, look, I need to get these French girls out of here. They're wondering what's going on. I've says to them, look, they need to go home. He says, so I'm going to take them to the bus of the train station and blah, blah, blah. Could you just take these 2 bags? So me and James went, oh, fuck, right, okay then. So we went up to their caravan, and me and James got these 2 bags. It was 2 big hold alls, and seeing this, it was a caravan, I think it was called Cockfosters in Paint. It was a huge caravan park. There's 3 big giant ponds. So me and James says, right, we'll just get into one of these ponds, and we'll get rid of the excess stuff, then we'll get to fuck. So me and James got the bags, says to she'll be back in half an hour. She says, look, we'll need to go. So we took these 2 bags, and see, while we were walking down to the ponds, James turned round a couple of times, and he says to me, he says, we're getting followed. And I went, don't talk about the rubbish. And he was right, somebody was following us. Do you know what happened, Shaun? The police, right, they were very quick in tracing us down because of this car. 2 police, but the police were going to our Torquay, but it was two police themselves. It came to the thing when they went into the reception, and they've says, is there any dodgy people? And they went, there's a team here for Glasgow, and they're going about to look dodgy, and the caravans are there. So they took up position in this caravan next to where the Healy's caravan was, and I think they were only in there half an hour, 40 minutes when we went away with the bags. And they went on the radio, and because it was in a hilly area, the radios weren't working. Remember, it's a way back 91 when technology wasn't really that good. So one of them decided to try and get help, and the other one followed us, and James had noticed them. So we got to the pond, Shaun, opened the bags, started throwing items in. The next one, I get the shock of my life. This guy, he was about 6'4", he was wearing a leather jacket, and he shouted, arm police, and it was either a 45 or a Magnum. And I just shut myself. I went, fuck's it. Then I went, I can't believe this. If we don't get the money, fucking, I'm going to be arrested, and hundreds of things. And I says to James, I says, look, don't mess about here. I says, he'll shoot us. So we complied with his order, and the twos lay down, but he never put my cuff on, right? So, and he was a big guy, right? And it's this jacket and that on. So, he done with these 2 bags. He's putting them on one shoulder, his gun. He says, right, 2 he's got up cuffed. He says, walk to the caravan you have just came from. And so me and James are walking up going, fucking hell, Mick, fucking idiot, how did he not get rid of these bags and blah, 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 blah. And we're going, how the fuck have they got onto us so quick? So we were expecting him to take us up to the Healy's caravan, and just before that he went, no, stop here. And he says to us, open that door. The caravan they were surveillancing us from. So he made a major blunder, so he did, this police officer. He says, right, the caravan, he says, right, get in the caravan. And he's coming in and he's saying to us, right, shut the curtains or in. But instead of just sitting there and with the gun, he decided to stand outside. But he had the door opened. And Shaun, I've had caravans. At the time I had a caravan up Manstrother, up my lovely part of Scotland, up in Fife. So I've always been a caravan person and that. So I know caravans. And when he says shut the curtains, I was amazed when outside. So me and James are sitting. The next minute my cuffs came off. And I went, and he went, what are you doing with that? He says, we're caught. And I went, I'm not sitting here getting fucking 18 years. And so we were peeping out the curtain, and there was about 3 people approached this police officer, and he was standing like that with his back turned to us, and there was people saying, going by and saying, who are you? And he's going, get away, I'm a police officer and all that. But he didn't look like a police officer, right? And he had his gun fingered and his jacket. And I'm saying the police are going to arrive here quickly. And I says to James, right, I says, listen, I says, see the next person that comes and asks him anything, and he turns his head a slight second. I says, I'm going right along the living room, in the hall, and out that back window. And James says, you'll get shot. I says, I don't give a fuck. I says, I'm not doing 18 years. Because up to the age of 30, I'd only done 18 months. I know I'm laughing about this now, but it wasn't a laughing matter. And so that's what happened, Shaun. James went like that. He says, right, somebody else is talking. He's turned his head, and I must have been like Alan Wells. He was a top Olympic sprinter for Scotland. He won a gold medal a way back. It's me giving my countryman another way, G. And so I got out the window, but see, James told me months later when I was caught, he says, Ian, he says, when you were going out that window, the whole caravan was shaking. He says, and his back still, he says, the police officer's back, he was still talking to this nosy person. He says, if he'd have turned round for 1 second, he'd have saw the caravan shake. So I'm away, and I ran up to our caravan, and Sheila's there. And she says, what's happened? And I says, what's happened? I says, me and James have just been arrested by armed police. I says, I've not got any time to talk about this. I says, but listen, I need to go. And I was wearing a tracksuit jacket at the time, and I just threw the tracksuit jacket on, and we had train tickets to go to London, for the plan was to go in with the money. And she started crying and all of that, and as I say, my son Darryl was 2. So I says to her, listen, I says, I need to go. And she says, where? I says, look, so I threw another jacket on. So I ran down to the front. I didn't know where to go. I ran through these fields, and I ran down to the front of painting at the beach, and I'm standing there, and I realised I had no money. I had £1 on me in this, and I'm going, how am I going to get from Torquay back to Glasgow? And I'm going, I'm sorry with £1, saying I should have had £1 million. So the next minute I was thinking, I says, right, I need to get away. And I spotted this railway line, and I crawled along a railway line, and I got to this other place in the Torquay called Brixham. It's a fishing village. There's a marina, so there's woods and that there. So I kind of had there was a helicopter up by this time. So Sheila was telling me years later that she just got to fuck as well after I went. A couple of minutes, she'd Darryl in the pram, and she saw James Healy actually in a police car. So I was minutes away from being arrested. She says the whole place just swarmed of police, helicopters, freaking cars, and so I'm in Brixham, and I went on the phone. I sneaked out to the phone, to a phone box, and I phoned a couple of good friends in Glasgow, and he says, right, he says, can you hold on to 12 o'clock at night? We'll get somebody to come to London. I says, not a problem. This was only lunchtime. So I more or less just hid in these woods and just walking about. And somebody turned up at 12 o'clock. The guy was sweating. Because no wonder, because see if this guy, see if he'd been stopped, there could have still been a cordon for us. But if he'd been stopped, this guy would have been roped into this conspiracy.
Yeah.
So it all went Pete Tong, and
you got a loyal friend there, back you up.
Yeah. It was the guy stayed in Kensington, and we went back to his house. Can I tell you this story? We went back to his house.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him on the way back, and he's asking. I told him just all went wrong. I says, shouting the guy with the key, and we didn't believe him. And he says, fucking hell. I says, well, I'm caught anyway. I says, because my prints will be in that caravan, at least. And there's probably other evidence. But I was thinking I'm going to be caught anyway. So he says, like, no problem. So we get back to his house, 4 o'clock in the morning or something, and was smoking joints.
That's a nice part of London, Kensington.
Kensington's lovely, aye. I've been in Kensington roof gardens before since I've been released. That was very nice. Pink flamingos and all that.
Yeah.
So get back to Kensington. I was saying to him on the way down, how long have you been there? Says 18 months. But my pal was up to no good. I think he was dealing in drugs with the Turks. And
did you know that when you were staying there?
No. I knew he was up to something, but it was after it he kind of told me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so when we got to the house, smoked a couple of joints, says, Ian, look, your bedroom's up the stairs. And he says, oh, by the way, he says, my wife's 7 months pregnant. I hadn't even met his wife. So Shaun, I thought, all I heard was a racket in the house, and I kind of woke up. It was about 7 in the morning. I think I was only sleeping an hour or two.
So this is the next day?
This is the next day. This is the next morning. And there was people shaking me, and I went to myself, he's went and got a couple of his friends, noised me up, right, police, and they were shouting police and all that. I know it's hard to believe, but this definitely happened. And they were going, who are you and all that? And I was saying, so what's my pal says my name? So
you think you're busted?
No, but my pal played it cleverly, so he did. So I says, my name's Gary MacDonald. Gary's been in trouble. We'll get into that later.
That's your brother? That's
my brother Gary. He's a years younger. So I knew his date of birth and all that, and just as well I had this cuff off and I wasn't left with a cuff on. So I'm seeing Gary MacDonald, and they're like, what are you doing down here? And I says, well, I'm down here staying with William. I'm looking for work. I know him up in Glasgow for school. He'd been down in London for years. I says, he's put me up for a few days. But I was thinking, what's he saying down there? But he played it cleverly because they put his door in, Shaun. They were like that, and they found I was up there. They went, who's your pal? And I went, fucking ask him yourself. It says, because kicked my door in and that. Because they only found a wee bit of hash in his house.
Yeah.
So they're saying to me, right, so Gary, have you any convictions of that? And I went, I don't really like talking about it. I says, when I was 18, I got Bosto. And when I was 19, I says, I got 8 years, I slashed a guy's throat, which was true. This is what Gary done. And the police went like that. They went, oh, typical Gorbals, eh? They think the Gorbals in Glasgow, it was years ago with Jimmy Boyle and all that. It was a hard place. So people in England, they always refer to Gorbals as no mean city.
Yeah, I read Jimmy Boyle's book. If anyone's out there likes prison stories, do you remember the name of his book?
Sense of Freedom.
Sense of Freedom. Check it out. It's on Amazon.
Yeah, get it in 1984, and it was kind of an icon. He was accused of 3 murders, and he was in prison, and he was getting a hell of a tankings off of prison officers, but he took one of their eyes out and all that. But they made this special unit especially for him in Berlin, and when he first walked into the unit, I read his book and it says, see, there's a pair of scissors, and he went, but he became a sculptor, and he married a girl called, I think her name was Trevelyan. Her dad was a film censor, so he got released. I think he done about 14, 15 years, and he got released. And he came out in France, love him. He's in France, and the guy's doing fantastic for himself now. he lives in Morocco and all that. He used to stay in France, so he's a big name up in Scotland.
A long way from cutting a guy's eye out.
He took the guy's eye out. That was a prison officer.
A prison officer.
Up in Inverness.
Straight shank.
And they nearly killed Jimmy Boy on a few occasions. And but getting off that, we're talking about in London this arrest.
Yeah,
so I heard. So they've left me in the room, and I heard the police outside the door going, "Oh, they've done a check on me," and I heard them saying, "Well, we didn't expect to see him," and he has been honest, telling us he's done 8 years and thing me, Boston and all that, and I could hear them and I heard them one go, "I'll just leave him," and they came in. They went, "Sorry for disturbing you, Mr. MacDonald." They says, "But we're arresting your pal." And I went, a bit further, went, "No." So little did I know, it came out later, Shaun, that my pal was dealing with the Turks for drugs, and his house just got raided. But so that was another thing, that the banks went thing with then.
I can see this
as
a movie,
was the next day.
You're on the run.
No,
you're
it's crazy.
Yeah,
so what happened? See, when the police all went away, I walked down the stairs, and the next minute, I hadn't even met his wife, and she walked down and she says, "You must be Ian." And I says, "Yes." And I says, "What happened here?" She says, "Look, they've took him away." She says, "But anyway," she says, what are you going to do?" I says, "Can I use your phone?" At that time, it was house phones and that. There was no mobiles and that unless you had a big brick. It's a car dealer. And I says, "Can you use your phone?" Because I knew Sheila had made her way down to Elephant Castle. That was the original plan. We're going to make our way down to Gary's.
So your missus is in London as well.
So she's in London. Yeah. So I phoned, and I phoned up the road, and Gary told me, says, "Look, here's a number. They're in the high flats in Elephant Castle." And so I phoned Sheila. She says, "You okay?" I went, "Fuck." I says, "You never believe what happened." I says, "But I'll tell you later." She says, "Right, here's the address, Elephant Castle. One of Gary's relatives is going to pick you up. There's a place called Charlie Chaplin's. When you come off the underground, there was a pub called Charlie Chaplin's." And the reason I'm saying that as well, because when I was in prison in England doing the sentence for the bank robbery, there was a guy from South London, Desi Cunningham. He was a cracking guy, and he's dead now, unfortunately, but he was a good guy. He learnt me to cook and all that. And I was saying to him, I was saying, "Charlie," he says, "Yeah, that was my local and all that, Charlie Chaplin's." So anyway, that girl actually went like, "I mean, there's £100," and she walked me to the subway station. So I met this guy, the relative, Gary's, Charlie Chaplin's, up the flat, and he says, "Listen, Ian," he says, "you can stay here for a week or whatever." And I says, "No," I says, "I need to get straight up the road." I says, "I've got unfinished business." At that time, Shaun, I was 30. And I don't mind admitting it. I was a bit crazy. I was involved in shootings and stabbings, slashings, a whole lot, and robberies and everything. And many years later in prison, my mum says to me, "Listen, I'm glad you're in here." And I says, "That's a funny thing to say. How are you saying that?" She says, "No, because when you were 30, she says, you were either going to kill somebody or somebody would have killed you." So I'm back to my cell and I kind of scratched my head. Then I says, "Well, she's right." So me and Sheila get the train. We decided to get the train back to Glasgow, and it was one of the saddest journeys for me because I knew I was nicked. I knew I was going to get the jail. It was inevitable. I was going to get the jail at some time. So we decided. I phoned a couple of other pals. Pal Harry has always been a good pal of mine for years, and they met us at Motherwell. And as soon as I met them, took us back through the house, through in Hamilton or somewhere, and he gave me a gun, gave me a revolver with 6 dum-dum bullets for maximum damage. And at that point, I had a lot of enemies in Glasgow, and I says, "Fuck it, I'm going to run for the bank. I see anybody in the street I don't like, I'm just going to shoot them."
Yeah.
So this never happened. So we're coming to 5 weeks. I'm on the run for 5 weeks. This was June 91, and I'm running about with a gun.
Are you staying in different locations?
Yeah, I'm staying in different locations and that. And I hadn't met Sheila for 5 weeks. And so she was down staying in my mum's, and the police had raided my mum's house a couple of days before it, and I've got another younger brother, Alan, but it wasn't for this robbery, because my pals were saying, how have they not come up here like a tornado and just crashed your door in? And my other pal was a wee bit sensible. We went, well, maybe they're just watching and waiting, and that's what they were doing. But the drug squad went into my mother's house 3 days before it, and my mum saw them tampering about with the phone. So they bugged the phone. So I hadn't been in touch with Sheila, and so we arranged to meet in this Chinese restaurant in Glasgow, and the police must have now they've heard this.
How are you feeling at this point? Are you like paranoid as fuck?
Oh, I'm right out my nut. I'm paranoid as fuck. Just with the police catching me, or I was just.
You sleeping next to your gun and
the gun was on me all the time, and, and at that time there was shell suits on, tracksuits, and I was running about with this tracksuit, and the gun was just in my pocket.
Yeah,
and I had it 5 weeks, and there was another occasion. 3 weeks when I was on the run. Still seeing Sheila, but I don't like to admit this, but I'll admit it. I'd been seeing another girl, and we went into this club in the West End of Glasgow. It used to be called Cleopatra's, and before she came in, I says, open your bag, and they were like that. She says, what'd you put in my bag? I says, a gun. She went, what? I says, a gun. And she was okay with that, and we went and stayed in a night, and it was about 3 days after that, I think it was the 11th of June, that me and Sheila arranged to meet in this Chinese restaurant. It's called the Po San. It's in Alexandra Parade. So anyway, I gets there. It was a Tuesday night, I always remember it, and Sheila turned up, and as soon as she came in, it was only a small restaurant, and I says to her, did you get followed? And she went, don't be silly. So see, 5 minutes later, Shaun, 2 people walked in, and I just knew, and they sat down near us, and they were dressed in jeans and all that, and I just knew a couple. I went, undercover cops. So Sheila turned around and she says, you say that once more. She says, and I'm going to get you. I says, paranoid? Of course I'm paranoid. I says, what's facing all this time? So I just knew it, and there was another 5 or 6 guys in the restaurant, and they were celebrating, past the driving licence, but I'm not thinking anything of them. But see, for this restaurant, you could see through at the front, and you could see loads of people coming in for takeaways. That was all police. And I says, I got that back, I just knew, I says, I got that back door, I got the front door, I'm caught. But the thing was as well, Shaun, they left us there for 3 hours, which I'm eternally grateful to Strathclyde Police at the time. Well, it was the Scottish Crime Squad. They could have just nicked me right away, but they had intelligence that Michael Healy was coming into the restaurant. So they were waiting and waiting. So I says to myself, the last supper, drink, eat, and that's it. And
Michael Healy, just to explain to the American viewers.
Michael Healy's the guy, he was the leader of the team for the robbery, and he escaped from Shotts prison. Okay. He was in 10 years in the butcher's van, and he's the only person still to this day it's escaped. So the intelligence, and Michael was to come in and meet me.
Did you say to this day?
No, to this day.
Today in the story.
No, to this day. This was back in 91. Michael was to come into the Chinese restaurant to meet us.
So they want to get you all at once.
Aye, so because I was wondering, and I'm drinking and going, and I just said, you get that sixth sense, and I went, there's police all about, you know what I mean, I could smell them, you know what I mean, and so Michael never came in. Fortunately for himself, he never came in, but I get 3 hours of dinners and drinks, and I'm saying to myself, right, this is it. Then they made their move.
Yeah,
they were called the Scottish Crime Squad. Then they came from Aberdeen, Dundee and Perth. It's called the Serious Crime Squad now, but the Scottish Crime Squad were made up of police officers from Scotland.
Were you not thinking there's a possible way you could escape?
No, there was none, Shaun. There was not. I knew they'd be sitting outside in a van. But see the funny thing in the restaurant, which I noticed weeks later. Well, I get a thing with recall back later. I was getting more drunker, and I was saying to Sheila, and she's gone, there's no police and all that, and I was saying, okay, I know, and I was just, because she says, if you mention it once more, I'm just going to leave. So I was saying, look, I need to fuck off to Spain. And little did I know, they had a directional mic. See this the lovely couple, as I call them, there was a big silver pen and it was facing. And I believe it's never come out, but I believe that was a directional mic going out to a car outside or a van, and then the door exit's covered, and it was right, because they says to me, well, what happened is after 3 hours, Sheila went, Christ, look at all these people coming in here. And they all just rushed in. There was about 10 of them, 12 of them rushed in. The 6, it was the thing with the driving licence. They all got up, pulled out guns. But see, the lovely couple, they were the first people to just actually jump right in Torquay, me and Sheila. And they're rolling about with me and all the rest of them. They've got Sheila down secured, cuffed. They've got me up, and there's a funny story to this.
What's the customers
and
how
I can
they
say
reacting?
this. Oh, they were just... There wasn't many customers
Shit
in that
flying
night.
all over the place.
Yeah, and there's tables going all over the place, and I'm rolling about. So they eventually got me. They got me up in the air, and they had me up like this, and one in my pocket, and he's gone. He said, "A gun." He said, "A gun." So I'm getting choked as well. So the police officers took the gun out, and he's went out of the bar, and he's done that with a revolver, took all the bullets out. But I'm going blue, and I'm going, for fuck's sake, this is overdrive, overkill. So the next minute, this wee Chinese guy came running over, and he shouted, I thought he was going to say, who's paying, no, I thought he was going to say, you're going to kill this guy, because I was going blue, because there was no need for it. I had the gun out. Do you know what he shouted? He shouted, "Who's paying this bill?" So, and it is funny, but serious at the time. And at that, they see the Scottish Crime Squad relaxed their grip on my neck, and it was one of the momentous moments in my criminal career, and one of the saddest. The momentous, I went like, bloop, 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 hour 3 of the Scottish Crime Squad, my sick.
You
The saddest,
vomited on them.
yeah, and the saddest was getting took away in handcuffs.
Yeah.
So they took me. So they explained to me, the police officer, they took me down to a police office called London Road in Glasgow, and they says to this detective sergeant who was charged of the operation, he says, Ian, he says, we've been looking for you for 5 weeks. He says, our duty was only to arrest you and hand you over to England, the Devon and Cornwall police, but since you've been done with this gun, you're going to get into Berlin. And I went, oh, for fuck's sake. Gary had already been in there for another attempt murder.
What is Berlin, just to explain?
Berlin is a hellhole of a prison. It's a maximum security prison in Glasgow, and it's a local prison. It deals with remand prisoners and prisoners doing up to 2 or 3 years. It's been there for over 100 years, and it's just... It became my second home. My house, I only stayed 5 minutes away. I stayed in Proven Mill, and that was the only thing. My school was next to it, and I went to this big round school called Smithycroft, and I used to look up at it, and in later years I says I must have been destined to get in there. So the prison officers were bastards at the time. They were. But do you mind me swearing?
No, go for it.
No, they were bastards at the time in the 80s, right? And
in terms of like beating the prisoners up.
Beating prisoners up and all that. So this was 91, and I'd already been up. Gary had been in at the time, a couple of months before it. And I went into the prison to give him a visit, and I shouted one of the prison officers, I says, here you fucking wank. I says, battered me and blah, 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 a few years before. And he's like that. So they never let me in to see Gary. And I was going out, and I says to him, I says, I think he's a hard man. I says, come on outside. I says, I'll take one of these and the way like that. Get to fuck and all that, right? So I'm in, so they says to us, Ian, you're going to Glasgow Sheriff Court to be charged with this gun. You're not going to England. So I went, fuck, right. So I went to Glasgow Sheriff Court, got to Berlin. The process in Berlin is, you go to see hall, the remand hall. So I'd get up there, Shaun, in late afternoon, and I just managed to get into my cell in Berlin Sea Hall, the remand hall, and I was in my cell. I was an escape risk. So for 5 to 6, Shaun, I was walking up and down the cell, and I was saying to myself, fucking hell, I can't believe this. It says, I'm going to lose a pub, I'm going to lose Sheila, I'm going to lose a wedding, £1 million. I'm what sentence am I going to get done in England? I've been done with a gun. My whole life just fell apart. So at that time, there was no toilets or no radios or nothing like that. There was piss pots. And for the viewers, a piss pot is it's a pot and you piss in and you go to this communal toilet and you pour it and it stinks. And
so if you're locked down because you're an escape risk, you're stuck with your piss pot in your cell and your piss and your shit is right there right next to you.
You need to do this. This is back in June 91, you know what I mean? And and I says to myself, well, at 6 o'clock, I says, I'll go to the toilet, and I was allowed to see other prisoners and I'll see who's in and whatever. So my door opened at 6 o'clock and I felt that I just felt the hall was eerily silent. And instead of me walking out with the piss pot, two of these young officers went like that, two of the prison officers went, cell search. And I went, cell search? I says, I've not even been in long enough to think we hide anything. So they went, look, and you've got to strip your prison issue clothing down. So it didn't feel right, Shaun, right? I just get this another eerie thing with that this didn't feel wrong. And started taking off my shirt, and I saw the two young officers looking at each other, and I got my sleeve down, and one of them were like trying to punch me. So I steamed into them, and another 6 of them came running in. They were standing outside against the wall. So it was all orchestrated, and they knew what they were doing. So they got me down on my knees, pulled my hair back, and they all says, you know what this is for, MacDonald, don't you? And I went, no, what's it for? They says, it's payback time. Because going back a wee bit as well, Shaun, there was a riot in Berlin. It was one of the biggest riots in British history. They took 5 officers up on the roof, and my pal Sammy Ralston and Ernie Barry, God bless him, I was just at his funeral last week. Ernie he was doing 18 years at the time for a bank he never done, rough justice. So they were up on the roof and all that, and I'd went down the second day, and I was in this pub. I think it was January 1986, I think it was, and I was in the pub, and I went back to my mother's 30 odd year ago, and I got this boot polish, and the name of the governor then was Slasher Gallagher. He was feared with the prisoners and the prison officers, and so I went like, Slasher Gallagher is an animal, I should know he'd done it. And I pulled this sheet up, and ITN News and all that and from England were there, and it was all coverage, and they were all up on the roof and they were singing these songs. There was this band in Glasgow called Scheme, and they would have made it big, but they were singing politics, CND and all that. But the boys up on the roof were singing Innocent. They had a song, Innocent as Hell and all that, and they had all the uniforms that they took off the officers and were banging them, and they were up in the chimneys. It was on the TV all over Britain. So anyway, getting back to me, ready to go out the door. So they've got me down. It was orchestrated. They went, you know what this is for? Payback time. They booted fuck out of me, Shaun. But I don't mind they're doing, but see in the 80s they brought these restraint techniques came out where they bend your arms, they bend your wrists, and it is sore. Any prison will tell you. And the prison officers these days, still to these days, they do it, and they get you to screaming. They go once it's happened.
Like they're going to snap your arm.
Yeah, and they go like that. And I think they do it like in mental hospitals and all that as well. It's a restraint technique. And there's only supposed to be one officer that does it. It's two. So they've done that to me, try to get me to scream. So I heard out of this hall, there was about 200 prisoners in it. One door banged. And they went, leave the guy alone. So they took me down to this strip cell. They chickened me up. And what that means is I had my legs bent right over, stripped me naked, and they left me in this padded cell, and it was just this padded thing, and I just sat there. But the guy that banged the door, his name's Carrie Carbon, he comes from Poso. Thank you, Carrie, for doing this, because this guy got a doing as well. Carrie banged his door and says, so they went up. I didn't find out till the next morning. They went up to his cell, and he was sitting having a fag in it. They went, oh, you the hard man that's banged the door? They went, no, they went, get him. So they battered his cunt in. So the next morning, I sat there all night and I went, I'm going to slash one of these bastards. I says, I've nothing to lose. I've got the bank robbery to go for. Thinking I've lost everything else. I'm going to fucking slash one of them because I'd done a few slashings in Berlin before, Shaun, to tell you the truth, when I was in there and for years. Just to make up a toothbrush, I'd put a wee thing, razor on it, solder it together with matches and that, and I've slashed people. And at that time in the 80s, you could slash somebody for a half ounce of tobacco.
Yeah.
It was that thing we knew. People would pay thousands.
Where would you target them?
I would target them in in the communal bit of the toilet, and I would just get into their cell and do it in there. There was no cameras.
Whereabouts would you get them?
I would get them on the face.
On the face,
I wouldn't go for the neck because I'd be killing them.
Yeah.
It'd be the face. I've got a Mars man myself, as you can see.
Yeah.
And I've always said, you dish it out, you get it back. But I'll explain that later.
Okay.
But at this time, the door got opened the next morning with this other shift that came on at Berlin. And they says to me, so there was this screw, I knew him, he came from Proven Mill. His name was Andy. And he went like that, he says, hey, now, I says, how am I doing? I says, I'm not doing too good, am I? He went, come on, I'll take you along for a shower. I says, no, I'm not wearing that, because I sat all night naked, bruises all over the place. I said, I'm going to do them in. He says, no, I've got your clothes. So he's got my clothes, took me along for a shower, and I'm in the shower and I'm using this soap, White Windsor soap, and I says, I better get used to this, I'm going to be in for a few years. And this Andy went to me, he's still a prison officer in Berlin just now, Andy Moore his name is. He went, Ian, I've got some bad news for you. And I'm busy showering, and I went, I don't think you could give me any bad news, any more bad news. He went, we'll see when you get banged up for 12 to 1, because this was a new shift that started in the morning. He says, the officers are going to get boot fuck out of you again. And I says, wait a fucking minute. I says, do you think I'm in here for recreational purposes? Do you think I'm a cricket ball? It's just to be battered about here. And he went, I'm just letting you know, but I'm taking no part of it. He says, when you see the governor, tell the governor you want to go to the Wendy House. Well, Shaun, to explain to the viewers, the Wendy House in Berlin is a segregation unit, and it's built like a Wendy House. When I was in there in the early 80s, when I used to get put into segregation, you just get put into another hall and get put at the bottom of the bottom of the landing. But they built this Wendy House place. And I says, why should I say I want to get into the Wendy House? He went, well, Ian, he says, because I've told you, he says, the prison officer's going to fing me. I says, wait a minute. I says, what do you mean when I see the governor? I says, I'm not at Butlins holiday camp and how you doing? Enjoy your holiday. I says, why have I to see the governor this morning? He says, oh, did I not tell you? The shift for last night says you attacked him. I went, no bother, Andy, you know what I mean? So that's what happened, Shaun. I get took to this Wendy House and governor, and I told them, look, I've been battered and all that. They done that to me and all that. So the governor went, I'm going to keep you in here, investigation. So that morning, Sheila came up to visit Gary. So they went, fucking hell, look at the state of you. And at the time, Shaun, it was glass windows. At the time in a visit room, you couldn't, there was no physical contact.
Have you got to pick up a phone, or is it like a hole?
No, it's no like the Americans, they pick up the phone.
Yeah.
There was just wee holes in it.
Holes, yeah.
So Gary and another friend and Sheila were there. I went, fuck, what happened to you? I says, I've been strangled in the Chinese restaurant. I says, I've just arrived in Berlin. I says, I was in my cell 1 hour. I says, they battered my cunt in. I says, I'm not standing for this. I says, I'm going to slash one of them. And Gary went, I dare. Because he knows what it's like. And Sheila went, no, stop encouraging him. I says, no, I'm going to slash one of them. I says, what else can they give me? I'm going to face fucking about 20 years or something. So Sheila went like that to me. She'd never been to a prison before. And she says to me, she says, look, I've got the wee baby here. Darrow had just turned 2. And she says, I'll wait for you for 10 years. So anyway, so I made her this promise, and I says, okay, then I'll do this. I says, I'll not succumb to any tactics that they're going to try with me. So, but they did. So I went back to my cell, and I says to myself, I walked about for a couple of minutes, and I went, did Sheila just say I was only been for 10 years there? And this is when it was just dawning about all these charges, the gun to get for, and the bank and all that. And I went, fucking hell. So I kept the promise, but they noised me up twice in the Wendy house. These young officers, I called them the Chewing Gum Gang in the book that I've got it. And I don't know why I called them the Chewing Gum Gang, but the jail tear and all that, and the chewing gum and all that. But I wear jail tear, chewing gum, they're swaggering about. And they were trying to noise me up. So one occasion, they came to the door, Shaun, on a Friday, and still happens this day and age now, Saturday and Sunday, you get banged up at the weekend at 5 o'clock, and that's you through it the next morning in Berlin. So I was an escape risk, so I was to take my clothes off and put it in a chair, but I usually put it about 4:30, 4:45. But they came to me about 3:30, this chewing gum gang, and they went, put your pyjamas on. I says, I'm not putting my pyjamas on. I says, it's only the back of 3 or whatever. They went, no, just get them on. I says, no. I says, see how that was there? And one of them went, aye. And I says, what? I says, well, thing me. And one of them went, aye, our social club's there, you'll no be there the night, right? You get that bit. And I went, oh, very funny. So I went, there's Parkhead over there. Celtic Football Park is only a distance of 5-6 minutes from Berlin. And he says, and what? I says, there's wee boys at 5 and 6. I says, they're away to watch the football and you're telling me to put my pyjamas on. I says, fuck off. And they just went, he, and off they went. So the second incident, about a week later, so I never rose to it because I've got this promise for Sheila. And the second incident, I was taking my clothes in, Shaun, and I noticed they were wet. So the third morning I says, nah. I says, I'm not taking this. So the chewing gum can came, all these young officers, right, again. So, and they were wondering how I hadn't says anything, but I left it 3 days, and I says to myself, well, there's no I says the shower's 60 metres along there. I says, and there's no a roof. There's no a leak above my door. So, and I says that to him. I says, look, my clothes have been wet. No, I says the shower and the thing, there's no a leak. And they says it might be the cats. See, at that time there was cats in Berlin, and there was a steel gate. It was opened, and they could have come in. And I just went like that. I says, no use cats, use fucking dogs. And I just slammed the fucking door, and they went away. He again. You know what I mean? So
do you think they were pissing on it or something?
No, that's what it was. No, it
actually was.
No, they were pissing on it.
Okay.
No, they definitely, without a thing of doubt, pissing. But it took me 3 days to say, right,
yeah,
because I'm gritting my teeth. I'm still in this promise because I've just lamped one of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, the 5 weeks passed, and I pled guilty to the gun charge, and I got took to Edinburgh High Court, and I'm sitting in the dug boxes, and the door opened, and I went to myself, fuck, I've won a millionaire. I've won £1 million here. What happened, Shaun, is see the guy opened the door, see the pub I had. This guy, he was a plumber, and we kept his mum and dad after hours and kept him, and he had no work at the time. And he says to, about 2 years before this, and his mum and dad says to me, listen, I forget his name, Tam or something, says he's joining the prison service. So I was keeping around after hours, and there was a couple of my friends, and they were saying, look, you'll become an animal, you'll need to join in and battle the prisoners. And they went, no, I'll not do that. I'll take wee bits of hash and I'll do this, I'll do that. But I knew, I says, look, I'm not going to slag you. He opened my door to take me to Edinburgh High Court, and I says, I'm going to tell him to get my cuff off, and when we get to Edinburgh High Court, I'm going to just jump out of this van. But I get into the van, and within 5 minutes, I couldn't even ask him that. And the only thing I got after him was a polo mint. He went, oh, this job's been great for me. He says, I stay out in Cumbernauld now, the chewing gum gang I mentioned earlier. I've been to Canada, I've got a girlfriend. Don't know how he managed that, but he did anyway. But and I just couldn't ask him. I went, fuck, all I'm getting is this polo mint. So I couldn't say, going to take his cups to escape. So anyway, I get 2.5 years, get put back to Berlin, and they put me on the main hall. And after 2 days, I get shouted down by one of the governors, and he says, I heard you're going to attack one of my men. I still had it, but Sheila was still coming at me. I says, look, I'm not going to do nothing, but they were noising me up, and I wasn't so glad to go to there. I was in there for June to August, and they took me down to Devon and Cornwall for an ID parade at Plymouth, and the copper that I jumped out the window, he picked me out. So they put me into a place called Dartmoor for 3 days. And it was one of the grimmest prisons. It was all fog, you know, all that, something like Count Dracula film. And so they took me back up to Scotland. And a few weeks after that, the police came out again. They says, Ian, would you consent to come down to England? And I went, yes. I was dying to go to the place, right? But getting back to the story, and I'm jumping back forward. When I got my 2.5 years and I got out the Wendy House, I get shouted in 2 days later with this governor who was a pure bastard. So he was a pure bastard, and he was sitting with another officer, and they went, I heard you're going to attack one of my men.
Is this the slasher? They call him the slasher?
No, it wasn't the slasher Gallagher.
This is a different governor.
No, I've got a story to tell about him. He assaulted me in the 80s. This was another one, a principal officer, and he says, I'm going to, and I says, no. He says, well, I'll tell you why. He says, see if you touch any of my officers, he says, I'll have every bone in your body broken. And you get took to the hospital and all that. And I went, I can't bother. I'm up my landing. But I was biting my teeth not to do that because of this promise. So if I can just get back, I know where I'm at just now, and I've already been down to Plymouth the thing with. For September I'm ready to move down to England, but if I can just get back to the 80s, Shaun. A couple of stories in Berlin. I've had a couple of beatings, and there was dining halls in Berlin, and this is going back 1984, and there was dining halls. Now you just get your food down at the hot tray and you go back to your cell and eat
What
it.
was the food?
Food was crap.
Was it?
It was crap. Used to call it the Berlin stew curry.
Stew curry?
Aye, stew curry. Then it was lucky if the cats in Berlin would have ate it. But I'm thinking programmed to eat anything because I'd been in a proof school and that before it. But no, the food was disgusting. So this was what this riot was about. We were in the dining halls, and it was a Saturday, as I already explained. You get banged up at 5, the whole prison. And when about 4 o'clock, we just whispers went round, right, we're refusing this food, we want a replacement. So they says, you're getting fuck all replacement. So the people at my table, there was a guy down for Peterhead visiting, and Peterhead, that was a top security Nick, away up Aberdeenshire, and he was coming down visits for his family. He was sitting at a table, there was another couple of guys, and he says, right, we're joining in, fucking, if it's going to go off, we're getting in. But this guy's doing life for 10 years. I was doing 12 years at this time. And so they happened to come out to my table, and they says to the guy, Peterhead, and his other boy, Ted Cuddy, and they grabbed Ted, and they went, right, move. And he says, no, and we says, don't move. And they tried to grab him. I just jumped up with a teapot and smashed one of them the fucking head with it. And my other pal jumped up and hit them with a chair. But the whole dining hall got up, and I went, yes, there's going to be a good big riot here. I was only 24, 25 at the time. And but everybody just started running up and down, and all the other officers came in, and they were going, MacDonald, and the other guy. So I got into the hall, and these officers went like, look, Ian, just stand here. I says, no, I'm going up to my cell. So they locked down the whole prison, Shaun, at 5 o'clock. And there must have been about 50 prison officers at least. They've congregated, and I could hear them. But I was banged up with a guy. He was only doing 3 months, and the guy was shitting himself. He was going, "Oh fuck, you're going to get some doing, and I think they'll batter me." I went, "No." So what they've done is they've opened the door and they've shouted him out and put him in another cell. And I was standing there, and I'd one of my wee razor blades, which I told you I'd succeeded. So I was standing, and I was standing at there was a bed at the window, and I was stood in the bed, and I could hear them all outside congregating. I went, fuck, I says, I'm going to slash it. And I went, so the door opened, and it was this slasher Gallagher, right, that everybody feared, and he looked a menacing figure. He had this trilby hat on, and this long coat, and he just went, get him. And I just dropped the toothbrush and the blade. I says, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So they were ordered, it was like a gauntlet. I was in the third landing, and it was like a gauntlet of prison officers, see a black, all the way down the stairs. And this is 80s, the window house is not there at the time. And I'm going through this tunnel, going through E-Hall, and every one of them were ordered not to use their buttons, but give me a kick and a punch. I was lucky I never had any broken bones. But the next morning I woke up like the Elephant Man, and I get charged. They charged me with 2 assaults, and the prison doctor, as per usual at the time, says, "Oh, I must have fell down the stairs." The usual back then, right?
Slept in
so
the shower.
No bother. But what I've got to tell you, Shaun, is I know I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing. See the other guy that they were getting. There was 2 of us. I spoke to him many months later, and he went. He says, I could see them through my peephole and they went to get you first. He says, I could hear you screaming because they were punching my fucking balls and face and everything. He says, I wish I'd have been took first. He ended up with a couple of broke ribs and that. So, and I had a visit with my mother about 2 or 3 days later. And I was some state. And I rang the bell. They kept me away from all the other prisoners and all that. And I've rang the bell and I says, what about this visit? They went, what visit? But I found out weeks later, my mum turned up at the gate for the visit and they says, Ian doesn't want the visit. They just didn't want to see like that. And
no witnesses.
Any witnesses. So that's the worst doing I've ever had in prison. That one with Slasher Gallagher. Slasher Gallagher actually slashed a prisoner up in Peterhead.
So we got the name.
And do you know what he done?
No,
the guy Slasher Gallagher, and instead of getting the police to him, Slasher Gallagher actually just says, right, hold him down, and he slashed him back. But he promised the guy's dead now, I think his name is Bobby Brody. He promised the guy about a week later, he went, listen, keep your trap shut and I'll get you into this special unit where Jimmy Boyle and that was. So this is how this governor was called this. But he was a tough governor and everybody feared him, cons and prison officers. So getting on to that, September 91, I signed out the papers to go into England. I'm doing this 2.5 years, and I get took to Stockton for the night, and there was 6 Devonshire, Devon and Somerset police, and they were gunned up 2 cars, 100 miles an hour, all the way down. I get took down to Bristol. I think it was a Friday or something, and I was to make my first appearance at the Torquay Magistrates Court to be charged with the 6 million failed bank robbery. And my pal Michael Carroll was in. We were put in the block. That's called in Scotland they call it the digger, but in Scotland it's called digger, and in England it's called the block. So we're in the block, solitary, and Michael Carroll, he was already arrested. He'd been arrested a couple of weeks before it in Bournemouth. I think he was arrested with a gun as well. So he went like to me, says, Ian, he says, see when you go to court, see when you go to get reception and Monday at Bristol, Horfield. He says, you're not going to believe this. I says, what? He says, there's going to be 2 Range Rovers with machine guns. There's going to be motorcycle outriders, a helicopter. When you get to Torquay Magistrates Court, there's going to be a sniper on the roof. I went, nah. I says, for a wee guy like me from Glasgow. I says, Glasgow. I says, no chance. And he was right. I fucking went out and and they were just shoving everybody out the way, Shaun, and straight all the way to Torquay. So I think I was going back to, I'd been getting my depositions at court just as well. So I thought I was going back to Bristol. But we got to this place. I didn't know any jails in England. We got to this place. They're in the book again. I've mentioned Gangster Wing. And the reason I say that, because I go to this reception and he says, you're now in HMP Long Lartin. It's in a place called Evesham, 30 miles from Birmingham, Worcestershire. And so I got there, top security night, 2.5 years. I says to the prison officer, I don't really want to be here. He says, aye, you do. He says, this is not a bad prison. And during the course of my sentence, I ended up there about 4 times because I kept getting moved about Cat A. So I got into the hall, I think it was the hall, and in my bed pack, and I was at the office getting ready to be assigned my card, what cell I was to get into. So this wee guy for Liverpool sneaked in, and wee guy Tony, he was doing 6 years, and he went like to me, and I knew, and damn it, I says, they're going to think I'm a grass. No grass is weed, as in informant.
Yeah, snitch.
Right?
Yeah,
snitch. Because I'm only doing 2.5 years, because I think the lowest sentence was 5 years in that prison. And I'm double A category. and double A categories, the highest you could be on.
Like Super
I was
Max,
on,
is it,
I
in
was on
America?
that for a year.
Yeah.
The another 7 year I was on thing with A cat. So anyway, he's quizzing me and all that, and he's going, "Hi mate," and all that, and I'm going, I came down from Berlin, I was in Stockton, and I'd been to Bristol for the weekend. It didn't sound right, and but this guy had sent him down. This guy John Haas. This guy ended up getting released for a 14-year prison sentence. December and December, ended up next door to him. So I went up the stairs, and I went in to see this John Haas, and I says, "There's my depositions, mate." And he went, "Oh, you're okay." I says, "Look," I says, "the reason I'm here, I think the police think that Michael Healy's going to break me out because he's already broke out and all that. They weren't taking chances, but so that was the reason." So I settled in there, and it was great. The place was great, and I got to know everybody and all that. And so John Haas, he get released, and he was quite a top figure, and I says, he's going to go out and run Liverpool. You could see it in him. And he got out in December 91, and he got 18 years, and he ended up getting a royal pardon and all that. I'm not getting too much about it, but I think they were getting guns stashed in Liverpool and all that.
And how recently had Healy broken out before this?
He'd been on the run 3.5 years.
Okay.
He'd been on the run for, I think he went on the run December 88.
Okay.
And he came up to the pub around about April 91. So he was away quite a while.
So you're thinking you're going to take off next?
Yeah, so they thought that he was going to kind of break me out.
Oh, he was going to break you out?
Yeah. So that's the reason they put me in a high security prison. But, so I was in there the 2.5 year before instant, and I met people, and I ended up getting moved to, the 2.5 years finished, and I get moved to Brixton prison. There was a secure unit in there as well.
London.
Yeah, and just before I was in there, Shaun, there was 2 IRA prisoners. They got a gun smuggled in a training shoe.
Yeah.
And the guys managed to escape and go over the wall and get away and all that.
Just for the American viewers, explain what the IRA prisoners means.
It means the Irish Republican Army. They've been fighting for a cause for years. It was mostly because they were getting treated unfairly, Protestants. They thought that they were getting everything. And I'm sure most of the American audience will know who the IRA are.
A lot of bombs were going off around there,
there was a lot of, I think there's a lot of Americans fundraising and that as well. So these 2 guys, I don't know how they done it, but they done it. There wasn't all the high-tech scans and that at the time in the prisons. So one of them was a gun, and he's pulled, we were going to church in the morning or something, pulled the gun out, and I think, to tell you the truth, I think MI5 let them go. I think they were trying to find a cache of weapons that they'd had or something.
Wow.
So they managed to put a big bit of wood against a wall, and I'm sure, from my recollection, collects me right, they hijacked a car and they were away.
Yeah.
So I was in this Brixton. I didn't like it. It was like a couple of weeks, and I ended up fucking fighting with a screw and all that, and they put me in the block.
Why did you fight a guard?
Because I asked them for my canteen, Shaun, and you know what canteen is? Canteen is you get paid your wages,
commissary,
and you can buy your toiletries and chocolate. Whatever. I didn't smoke, so it held me in good regard in years. So I get put down in the block, and a couple of days later they came and says, "Right, you're moving." I went, "Thank fuck for that." So they took me to Wormwood Scrubs in March '93, and I thought Wormwood Scrubs, it was basically, it was like Berlin, but no as bad prison officers, but that was a kind of a setup, old Victoria building and that. So while I was there, a couple of weeks later, this guy came in. It stole £1 million of Scoodles for Heathrow Airport. His name was Florida Phil, and he was on the run for 4 years. And he came in, and he was a security. He was just a security worker, a guard, and he used to go to high voltage planes and collect high voltage money, jewellery, whatever. And he was telling us, we get talking to him. He came from Stockport, The guy was late 40s and had heart condition. And everybody's like, that Florida Phil, where's it? Because the papers, the sun was splashing him all over the place. It was like a Robin Hood figure. It left the wages for the Heathrow workers. So, but it took the Escudos. And when he got caught when he escaped, they're saying Florida Phil, he must have been Florida, but it was actually, he was in a caravan park in Hastings. So I get pals with him and all that, and everybody's like, and they were all trying to think me. There's bullying in prison and that. So I says, look, leave the guy out. And I used to say, Phil, where's your Scudos and that? He says, the London gangsters have took it off me. He says, I just met these guys in a pub. He says, and they've thinged me, says, right, they've took me some money. I says, but you've been in 20 countries. I used to come back and get money. I had a passport and it was called Philip Green as a greengrocer. That was alias. And he's telling me all these countries. So he told me this story about Olga. He'd met Olga in Malta in a bar, and she was part of the Russian Federation of Gymnastics. So I says, that's good meeting her. He says, no, I've been to Russia, our family were poor and I bought her a TV and all that. And he's telling me things like that. So a couple of weeks later, I was out for association. You get association 3 times a week. Then
recreation.
Recreation.
Yeah.
You can play table tennis or sit and play cards or use a phone. So Phil had this phone call with Olga, and he says, I'm looking forward to this call with Olga because we're on the pay phones then with the card. Because he's phoning with Russia, they've allowed him a phone call. So I went, good luck and all that thing. He's like, I'm dying to talk to him that, and I was like, right, good. So I'm playing table tennis and Phil came back and he just walked back. I went, okay, you okay? He went, oh no, and he went into his cell, and about 5-10 minutes later he must have pressed his bell. I told you the heart condition. And I saw the screws all rushing in, and I went, fuck's sake. I says, Phil's no, he's no trouble. And I've ran out, and he's getting stretchered out, and I ran out. And I says, you all right? You okay? He says, no, Olga just told me she doesn't want anything to do with me. And I felt sorry for him. And I says, sorry to hear that. But prison can be cruel, as you know. Shaun, you were in prison yourself. I know.
You see guys get gutted. They're looking out the window to see if the women are going to show up.
Yeah, I know. So I was feeling sorry, but there's a twist to the tail of this story. 2 weeks later, the Sunday Mirror published a two-page spread, and it says that Olga, she was in Malta, right? She wasn't in the Russian Federation, by the way. She was a go-go dancer and she'd go with anybody for a bottle of vodka. So everybody was slagging Phil. And once he was out his cell, somebody went in with toothpaste or something and put this 2 spreads thing on the wall, and it went through a hard time. So at the same time, I had Sheila down visiting me, and she believes in psychics and all that, and I don't know palm reading and that. So she says, I've been to a psychic, and the woman knows you're away somewhere, and I'm going, bollocks. She says, no, the woman says, I can see a number 6. So I went, okay, no bother. So I went up to my cell, and nothing else to do but think. And I'm going, she's so psychic, she knows I'm away somewhere. I'm starting to believe this. A number 6, maybe I'm going to get 6 years. I could handle 6 years. But what she forgot to do is when I got to the Old Bailey, she forgot the psychic, whoever, forgot to add a 1 into it. I get 16 years. And another twist in the tail, I think the 6 was meant for Phil. Phil became a good pal. He gets 6 years because it was only a theft. And Phil went to Parkhurst, and I was writing to him. And I was telling Shaun earlier, I got a letter saying, some of these young guys are trying to take my tobacco. And I went, what a guy. Like. So I wrote to somebody in Parkhurst. I went, look after Phil. And I went, what is somebody trying to take his tobacco? And the guy was just an ordinary, he wasn't a crook. And he saw an opportunity. And Phil's still living today. I would like.
So was
he
making up about the London gangsters? He really hid the money.
Right.
The London gangsters took it from him.
I believe he says he was going into the pub and all that, and you've seen the work turn. But see my take on it. I believe Phil got the money himself.
Yeah.
And thing me, and good luck to him. Good luck to the guy. But this was the story, the London gangsters, because there was a lot of people going like yourself going, where's the money, I'll protect you, and he's going, I've not got it. So, but I believe so, and I wish him well if he's still thinking about it.
You mentioned going court the Old Bailey there. Are you right now facing court dates in Bristol still for the robbery?
So I get to, so before that I've jumped away there.
Okay.
So when I finished the, so before I was in for June 1991, moved to England September, and it took 16 months to get to the first trial. So because it's in Somerset district, they were having a first trial at Bristol Crown Court. So they rounded all us up and they took us down to Bristol. And the trial started in Bristol, I think it was the 5th October 1992, and it went on for 5 weeks, and it was a comedy of errors. There was 3 different juries, and the prison officers hated us in there because we were running amok. They opened up a new hall and we were throwing food at each other. And I went down to court and I came back one day and they went, you've been put on report 3 times. We first saw it, they were giving us cold sandwiches, and this day we decided the 6s would get, they put us in one cell, and they were giving us cold sandwiches, and they had a big tub of tomato sauce and brown sauce. We went, we've had the fucking enough of this, and we just grabbed the fucking sauce, threw it at the 6 officers, and we all ran like fuck. And so we were a headache to the Bristol prison officers. So every time we came back a second time, I think we were into 2 weeks of trial. We came back and we went, what happened today, lads? Because we're dying to get rid of us. We went, there's a third jury getting sworn in tomorrow. They went, what's happened? It says one of the jurors has been seen talking to a procurator, well, we call it a procurator fiscal in Scotland, been talking to a QC prosecutor, and Dermot Wright was a QC for Michael Carroll, and he'd spotted this and he brought it up in court, and it was quite laughable anyway like that. He says, and before we threw the tomato sauce and that over the thing with the screws, he made a motion. He says, if these men are still going to get continued with this cold food facilities, I'm requesting bail. And we all started giggling because there was no danger they were giving us bail, but Dermot, good on him, he asked for that, and anyway, and he'd spotted the juror. So the third trial went in, and that was just, we're coming up to about the 5 week mark. But see, at the time, Shaun, me and Michael Healy and that we were going out for recreation. We were trying to look for a weak spot. We wanted to escape, and we couldn't find anywhere in Bristol. But seeing Bristol Crown Court, it was an old court building, right? And we found a weak spot. There was a toilet, right? And somebody could climb over a fence and put a gun at these bars. So we had a plan in motion that somebody was going to come down for Glasgow, get the gun. One is going to go to the toilet. Scott was going to put and just wrap him up in the toilet. And we were just going to go around and batter the prison officers as well before we left. And we weren't going to ask anybody to effect to escape with cars and that. If somebody would have come down with a gun, it was just going to be a free-for-all in Bristol, hijacking cars, get away. And we were 6 category prisoners, so it would have been a big scream up. So unfortunately, somebody grassed us. Somebody snitched us up in Glasgow that this plan was in motion. I know who it was. It was a girl, right? We'd passed out a letter with directions how to thing, and she's passed it on to the police. What
was in it for her to snitch?
The letter, nothing really. Nothing that I know of. But so we went to Bristol Crown Court this day, and the whole place was covered in security, and there was people getting through barriers, the metal detectors, and the thing we went, there was 2 QCs prosecuting us.
And QC means, is it Queen's Counsel? Is it?
Queen's Counsel, yeah.
And that's a prosecutor.
Prosecutor, it could be Queen's Counsel to defend you as well.
Okay.
So
like a public defender.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's one of the Queen's Counsel stood up and we were like that, and then, but they had us in handcuffs at this time, and we were going, me and Mick's going, fucking hell, what's this all about? Know what I mean? But the gun was there in place at the time, Shaun. but it was ready to be put there. But they'd got one day just a few days before it, so they've contacted even Somerset Police and told them these men are going to thing me. So one of the QCs was asked to get into judges' chambers out of the 6, pick one, went in, and he came out of that meeting, and he was under an oath not to discuss what was said in there, right? Because it says there could be people's lives in danger, judge, QCs, public, and the benches, everybody's life was in danger. So thing with the other QCs are all going, what's this about? But me and Mick and that now, it's his gun. I've got wind of his gun. So the judge briefly just summed up. He went, listen, had enough of this. Just will be going to the Old Bailey. Trial dismissed.
The Old Bailey.
Right? So I went back to Long Lartin, and Mick Keeley went back here, which was great. So it was. And one of my other co-accused, Robert Harper, went to Wormwood Scrubs. And Wormwood Scrubs, I told you I was in there, but he got put into the segregation, and they gave him a hell of a doing. And at that time, Shaun, they were battering a lot of prisoners in Wormwood Scrubs, and there was a trial, and I think about 2 or 3 of them got convicted, and there was a lot of compensation. I think my pal got paid out about 20 or 30 grand
from getting beat up by the guards.
Because when he came back to court and all that thing, mate, he was all bruised to fuck and all that. So when he dismissed that trial, we went back to Bristol for a couple of days, and they used to give a meeting on a Saturday, and he says you get fuck all meeting. So 3 prison officers get assaulted, 1 got a broken arm, and another one dislocated hip, and 1 black eyes. So they just went like that, moved us right away. They moved us all to different prisons, and we waited to July 1993. So all in, I'd been in custody for June 91 to July 93. So it was nearly thing me over 2 years. Over 2 years before we finally went. So we had a 5-week trial, and the Old Bailey, as I told you, it was Sir Lawrence Verney, and he told us, any more trouble, I know what's happened at Bristol. He says, I'll just put you in the cells, or you'll be moved to other prisons.
A lot of people have read about the Old Bailey, like in Dickens and stuff. What is the Old Bailey actually like?
I thought it was fascinating.
Fascinating. In what way?
I just thought Old Bailey, you hear I'd never ever thought in my criminal career, I'd never ever thought I'd be in a place such as the Old Bailey, because there's been loads of famous cases, well, infamous cases held at the Old Bailey, and I was still hoping to get 6 years, by the way.
What does it look like in there? Is it
it's
old school?
Aye, it's an old building, and I'm sure when before we went into the thing, we see when the van went in, there's a round circle, the van goes round, but we were just put in a cell, and it was just we were there for 5 weeks, and we had a character coming down. He was supposed to be sticking up for us, but he was called thingy Mr. X. He was a Judas. He get blamed the thingy setting 2 guys up in Glasgow to kill them, and I will not mention his name. I'll just say it's a Judas and thingy. He demanded to be called Mr. X and Mr. Y. So he actually made it worse for us. When he went into the dock to give his evidence, he held a Bible. And he ended up saying to the jury, "Are you looking at me? I'm talking to you." And he was more or less growling at them. And the judge had to rebuke him. So I thought that was a bad move on Michael Healy's part, getting this guy done as a witness. So then the inevitable came after 5 weeks. There was no deal, by the way, Shaun. There was no to let 2 go. But Robert Harper and Thomas Carrigan, this is what I forgot to tell you. See, when they left, remember the Chris Packet episodes?
Yeah.
Well, they left and they went up to Norwich, and they rented a farmhouse out, and they got a Jeep and they reversed into a gun shop in the middle of Norwich town centre, and they stole Magnum handguns, and they stole pump actions, and they done 3 banks. Then it came in top for them. They searched the farmhouse, found the guns and that. So they were facing all these serious charges. So in May 2003, unbeknown to the jury at the Old Bailey, they've already been convicted of these and they're doing 17 years. So you had in the dock in the Old Bailey in trial, you had Michael Healy 10 years, but he got 2 years added for escaping for shot. So he's sitting doing 12 years. Thomas Carrigan's sitting doing 17 years. Robert Harper's sitting doing 17 years. And I was sitting there, I'd been arrested with a loaded firearm on us. So we were like a Jesse James guy in Glasgow. So the jury actually went out for 2 days. And after the first day, we went, fucking hell, we're going to get away with this. But there was no way. I think the jury just went out to go to a fancy hotel and get a nice dinner and that. So the guilty verdict came in, and it was a ring of steel with police and all that case we kicked off. And we actually, I've never said this before, I've said it in the book, I've never said it in the interview. See, when they sentenced, they went 16, then they gave me my 16, and they says 6 months for the escape when we got the handcuffs. Then they went 16, 18, then they went to Michael Healy. And I'm going to give you 19 years. He says, I don't know by law if I can do it, but I'm giving you consent. So he was doing 31 years. So I went to myself, for fuck's sake, I was still trying to struggle with my 16, know what I mean? And so we stood up, and they were expecting a reaction for the 60s to think me assault them or whatever. And we ended up singing a song saying, only look on the bright side of life. While we were getting down the stairs. And the prison officers looking as if to say, fucking hell, thought they were all going to attack us or something. So we sung that song, we took it on the chin, played for high stakes, and we lost.
Yeah.
So I remember saying to Michael Healy, we went to Belmarsh top security unit straight after that again, and the next morning when it's all dawning on us, I'm walking around with Michael Healy, and I says, Michael, do you know something? I says, you're doing longer than the train robbers. Because the train robbers, the great train robbery, there's a lot of people know the Glasgow to Euston train was robbed at 2 million, in this day it would be about 20 million or something. And so they get 31 years and Michael get 31, and we hadn't even got a penny. And I'm not ashamed to say that first night in Belmarsh, I think I cried. They could have heard me up in Glasgow that night. But so after a few days, they get rid of us. I went up to full sitting. That would have been about August, September 1993, and I was there for 3 years. And I met a chap there, Alan Byrne, and that's what I would like to talk about. Alan's case. I met Alan, a wonderful guy, and he'd been in 10 years. He was doing a 20 years recommended sentence for shooting a security guard dead, trying to steal money. So he was telling me, talking to me, says, Ian, he says, for Glasgow and that, he says, I was born in Glasgow, but I'm sure he says he was only in Glasgow six months to a year as a baby and moved into London, but he had a Cockney accent, but he says, I was born in Glasgow. So Alan was well known with all the prisoners, very, very highly respected guy. So he took a shine to me, and we used to have parties with hooch and all the rest of it. So Alan says to me, this is about 54, I've run 10. He was always into his gym and all that, very fit. So me and Alan were on a visit this day in full sitting, and the visit times were from 2 to 4 o'clock, and it was a Friday, and we used to always have a booze up on a Friday. The prison officers, to explain to the viewers, in these top security prisons where I was in England, you got a wee bit of leeway because security was paramount. As long as you didn't try to escape, you got it relaxed. You could make hooch. To the viewers, hooch is you fermented oranges or apples or potatoes with orange juice, and and you left it in a bucket to ferment, and it would turn into strong alcohol. So we used to have these parties, and this night we're having a party. The IRA were around the corner, and a guy, Archibald Hall, he was from Scotland, he was called the Butler. He'd murdered 6 people. And I used to get into his cell and I used to say, Archie, tell us about these 6 murders again. Because he used to be a butler, and he killed this couple up in Dumfriesshire. He was a butler, one he was an MP, and he was homosexual, Archie. So he got his boyfriend a job, and it was a big large estate. And he says his boyfriend, I remember him saying, his boyfriend came in this night steaming, and he pointed a gun at Archie. And Archie went, oh, look. And Archie says to us, I'll get you back. So Archie told me the story. He says the next day, he says, Mum, we'll go hunting with rabbits. So he's heard him shooting off 6 or 10 shots or whatever. Then he just turned around and went bang, bang. And shot him in the head. So he buried him. And he told us, I know it's gruesome and that, but it's quite funny as well. He says he buried him down at there was a wee river. And when the couple had this big estate, and say one of them was an MP, the Labrador dog used to go and sniff at it, where the body was buried and all that. And he killed another 3 people. So Archibald told never to get out. But the guy, when I met him, he was 70 years of age, and he was still a fit guy. And I'm saying, how do you know move him to a B cat? But eventually get moved to Kingston, a retirement home. I think he died in there. But I got on with Archie well, and the IRA boys. So getting back to Alan Byrne. So we came off the visit, and we're at the reception area, and an SO, a senior officer at the office, went, Alan, here's a letter for you. And just never thought nothing of it. So went back to the cell. I was next door to Alan, and he shouted, Ian. I'm into his cell. He says, what is it? He says, these cunts have only put another 10 years onto my sentence. And I says, what do you mean? He says, look, I've got a letter here. Michael Howard, I think this was 94 or 95. Michael Howard with the Tories for being elected. He went on a stance of crime and punishment. I'm going to thing with prisons and all that carry on, and be more severe with punishment, with courts. So that was his kind of a stance, and he made a lot of changes. So he took it upon himself. The letter was signed with Michael Howard. I've reviewed your case, and I think 20 years isn't enough. Who the fuck does he think he is? You know what I mean? Does he think he's a High Court judge or something? He's just gave the guy 10 years. So he went like that to me, ordered me a booze. Started running, the IRA boys came round, Joan, Harry and Shuggy, and we're all going, look, this can't be allowed. This is against your human rights and things. So Alan always had a wee party piece. As I say, the screws were relaxed, as long as you think they knew we were drinking all that, smoking hash. But as long as you're relaxed, to try to escape, that was it. So Alan used to always sing, I did it my way and that. So for a couple of months, he put on a brave face, and then Alan got moved to Franklin Prison, which is up in Durham near Newcastle. It's another high security prison. And so word filtered through to us, Alan's got cancer, testicular cancer. And I went, for fuck's sake, I says, he's only got that other 10 years, now he's got cancer, but this story's got a good ending to it. And I'd have put it in my book, but I'll explain to you in a minute. I thought Alan was still on the run. So anyway, Alan's went to, he's still Cat A, he's went to hospital about 3 times, and he's overheard the nurse saying 10 o'clock, say Friday morning. So Alan had that such good pals in London. He's arranged a visit, and he says, fuck this, I'm not doing this for 10 years. Quite rightly so, it was illegal. So they turned up to hospital, Shaun, and they've come out the van, and as far as I understand, 2 guys jumped out of bushes, shotgun, pistol, fired up in the air and went, fucking let him go. Right? So Alan, that screws or shit themselves. I spoke to the prison officers years later and went back up to Franklin. They went, never been so scared in all my life. So we heard about it, me and the IRA boys. There was no TVs for about 7 years. I think we got the TVs about 97 or 98. This was run about 94. So there was a TV room. And so we just happened to be in the TV room. This happened. Me and all the boys, and it came on ITN News. It was the first thing that came up. Oh, there's been a dangerous prisoner escaped, got to hospital, 2 guns fired, and blah 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 blah. So Alan was on the run for 12 years, and I didn't know just to last year, a year ago, that Alan was back in custody. He actually took 2 children, by the way, since he was on the run. He was caught up in an international cocaine ring in Amsterdam, and he got 8 years for that. So once he'd done the 4 years at the 12, he was extradited back to England, and guess where they put him? Franklin. So I only found out about this about 14 months ago, that he was in, and I sent him a wee card. I says, it's in here, blah 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 blah, and he was so happy to get this card. So writing in that, and I put in, because you're category A, you have to see the police. So I get summoned to a police station. Alan's requested me for a visitor because you're category A. So you have to go to these police stations. So I'm doing this police station, and the coppers there, they're like that. I says, okay then, you asked Mr. Byrne. I went, how did you meet him? I says, well, I never fucking met him. Sainsbury's in Birmingham. I says, I met him in fucking Long Lartin and Full Sutton Prison. I says, and I became a good pal he has. We had many, many good parties. And the police looked at us like that, and says, right, okay then. And says, right, we'll be doing my report. And I couldn't tell them anything else. That's what I did meet him. So, and Alan just now as well, he's, I think he's 68, he's in very poor health, and he's got Parkinson's disease. I'm in touch with his daughter Hayley. She texts me and phoned her a couple of times, and she's up visiting him just now. So they knocked me back for the visit. So I've wrote a couple of letters to the governor, and I've says that I've clearly stated in the letters. I says, I think it's ridiculous I'm not getting in to visit him. I says, the guy's got Parkinson's disease. I says, I'm out of crime. Okay then, I've done 16 years down in England, but I'm out of crime. And I'm saying, because of the dishonourable, I says the dishonourable Michael Howard gave him this 10 years, and it was quite cheeky letters I wrote, right enough. And just now, they won't even let me phone him. That's how bad it is. He's requested, it's like a PIN system, and they've requested for me to phone him, and went, no, can't phone him either. So
yeah, in America, if you're in prison, former prisoners, you're not allowed to have contact with them. Yeah.
But I've heard on the fly that there is somebody it's getting into visit him, but I don't want to really get the guy into trouble, but somebody that's on the Hatton Garden robbery.
Yeah.
So good luck to the guy for the Hatton Garden robbery if he's up visiting, but yeah. I've been knocked back, but Alan's a dear friend, and they'll not even take him off a category A. He can't even put his shoes on or his trousers on or nothing, but he's been back in Franklin now. He's been back here for about 10 years, so he has. And he's still fighting to try and get this unjustly 10 years off, get put on.
Yeah, I can't believe a politician can just increase your sentence.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe that either. None of his kids.
So how are you coming to terms then with your sentence for the robbery? Yeah.
Well, to tell you the truth, Shaun, I'd only done up to 18 months till I was 30, so 18 months, but you done a year at it. I struggled with my first 5 years, and I'm not ashamed to say that. But the reason I did struggle a lot, because every Friday and Saturday, I used to always think he'd been out in the nightclubs with my pals. I'd listen to Pete Tong on the radio then. That was the big thing then, the Friday night. And And a couple of the guys says to me a few years later, they says, listen, Ian, they says, your thing with life is inside here now. They says, can't you think about outside all the time? So my mother and sister came up to see me, and I went like that to them. I says, right, that's me settled. And they went, what do you mean? I says, I get up in the morning, I go to my work, I go to the gym. I says, I have parties, this is my life. And my ma went, fucking time as well. But no, I did. I found it hard, Shaun. And the next, I was down in England just over. They kept me on category, right? See the category system. I'll get a bit about because I listened to one of your other podcasts, Pepsi, and he was going on about the young offenders. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the category A system. So they've got me in this category, and every year to get off category, it's just like getting up for parole. You get reports done on your behaviour and this and that, and it goes to a category A review team in London, where they're based, and they assess these reports. And it was coming back every year. No, your behaviour's still this, but at the end you're still highly dangerous. But there was some guys after 2 or 3 years that killed 2 or 3 people, and they just went, oh, you've not been took off the cat, eh? And I'm still on it for don't get a penny. But I think, Shaun, the reason they kept us on it so long was there was the planning for Glasgow to come all the way down to Torquay. The gun getting fired in the bank where they says this woman had been shot in the plaster, trying to get a gun smuggled into court, and her behaviour and all, batting prison officers and being in trouble. So after 8 years, I still. So you can't progress through the system. Like say you want to try and get out a bit earlier. So if you're on category, you're stuck there. So eventually, my come up. I get took off it, and I was like, after it was 8 years, 2 months, and just before that, I had my first parole interview, and I didn't have a clue about the parole system of that. So there was this guy, John Bullivant for Birmingham, who was doing 15 years for a £500,000 robbery. And he schooled me. He went, look, they'll ask you this and ask you that. He'd done it 15 years before. So I wrote all these notes down and all that, saying, right, say this, say that, say that. So I went down to the office, and it was this woman. I found out that she was she used to be an assistant chief constable, Leicestershire Police. Her name's Erica Norton. I looked her up the other day. She's an OBE. And she went, what's that paperwork? I went, oh, she went, well, I'll take that then. And she went out of the office and photocopied it. Oh, and I went, oh, why though? And I was raging. I said, she's going to see that I've done these notes and it. And so she spoke away to me, and she says to me, this crime, but why did you do it and all that? I says, obviously I done it for the money. She says, but I see that you've been convicted of jewellery hanging at. And she says, it was for greed, wasn't it? And I went, she says, greed, this was for greed. And I went, yes. She was like a battle axe. She was fearsome. But the woman gave her due. She was, she never took any shit. She knew her stuff. And she just says that to me. So she says, what do you do in prison and that? And I says, I could go to the gym. And says, I've learned to cook. I read a lot of books. And she went, oh, what are you reading at the moment? And I went, I don't know what to really say. And she went, no, tell me. She says, what? And at that moment, my boy, when I used to go on the phone, Shaun, on the prison phone, and we'd only stay on the phone for about a minute. You know what young kids are like. And I says to this Erica Norton, I says, I'm reading Harry Potter. It was the first book. I don't know if it was the Philosopher's Stone or that. It was the first book. It was his first book. And I told this woman, Erica, I says, I'm reading Harry Potter, and I read a chapter, and I go on the phone, and I say to my boy, oh, what about this and that? And he'd speak to me for 10, 15 minutes, and she turned around and went, oh, I think that's great. she says, communicating with your son through the book. So she done the interview, and I says to my pal, I went, oh, fuck that. I said, she took these notes. He went, what? And some of them weren't in my writing either. So she says in the report, she says, Mr. MacDonald was coached and schooled for this parole interview. And she did mention about the thing with interacting with my son through the book. But I get knocked back, and my other friend that was there, see before I did get knocked back, my other co-accused, he was raised at the time, and everybody in the prison, they were all kind of excited. They were going, "You two are going to get out, right?" And I was going like that. No, I don't think so. So this guy, I think with John Grove, his name was, he was a probation officer then. He came up to my cell after I'd done all the reports, and he says, you think they're getting out of that? I says, no. He says, how no? I says, well, I just don't think I'll get it. And he says, listen, all your reports have all been good, have all been positive. He says, think of the outside world. So I went, so I started thinking about getting out. So my other co-accused, he gets shouted down to the office this day, and he came back up, told her, oh, I've just been getting my parole. And this was the Monday. They're letting him out on the Friday. This was this was a way back in 2000. The summer, it was a cracking scorching day. And then mines came, just before he got out, mines came. They never shouted me down to the office and paraded me and says, oh, good luck with your parole. I was going to my work, and the prison officer just went, that's a similar thing with Alan. Oh, there's a letter for you. I went, all right. And I got to the work, opened the letter. You've been rejected for your parole this year. But I'd built myself up with this social worker saying that. So my pal that was getting it, he came to me on the Friday. It was the summer of 2000. He'd been in 9 years by then. And he says to me, he says, I don't want to really leave you. I says, look, just go and all that. He says, you'll get it the next year. So I went down to the prison officers a couple of days later, and I says to them, I says, right, not back for this parole. I'm on Cat B now. I says, what's the chance of moving to a Category C prison for rehabilitation? And they turned around and they says to me, you're not rehabilitation material. I looked at him, I went, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm not. I says, what am I supposed to think me, get all this offending I've done, get it out of my system and be a member of the public and be straight? They went, no, your first few years and all that, you were in trouble, but the last few years, you've not. I says, and is that not the way it's supposed to work out? They went, look, Ian, we're telling you the now, we're not sending you anywhere. And I just says, right, send me to Scotland. And that's what happened. But before that, there was another incident where I spent 3.5 months solitary. And I must say, I don't regret one bit for what we've done. It was an episode, this guy was there. And he was a beast. He'd killed 2 women. And his name was Paul Bostock. And he was getting moved. He'd done about 10 years. And he was getting moved to Gartree prison. So he'd always find me his bags of stuff in his cell. He was down the end of our landing. And we get petrol arranged. We knew when he was moving in it. And his cell get fingered. When he went down for it was only a minute time scale. And his cell got up and he came up and he was going, and he was greeting and all that, and the whole place got evacuated. And we fingered, me and this other guy, Mickey, Faye Corby, we get picked out for this, and we spent 3.5 months in the solitary. But this guy killed this woman, and with this young girl, and the second one, it's been in books about the guy. And it says he saw this lassie wearing red shoes and he killed her. No, he's a sick individual. And so when his cell was up blazing and all that, we were blazing as well, blazing with happiness. Because all his photos and all his possessions were all burnt. So we were in Fingme for that.
So there's a convict code then of people who kill, rape women. And what did that happen much in there?
Well, see Long Lartin prison, to explain it fully. It was a kind of, even though it was a top security prison, but it was a relaxed prison. But I didn't know this for a couple of months when in there. They were putting people in there for sex offences and mingling about you. And the golden rule was, don't touch them. Whereas I was in Phil Sutton and Franklin, they had a separate wing for them. And
why was the golden rule, don't touch them?
The golden rule was, don't touch them or we'll take your booze and your parties away. And it was a very relaxed regime. The
guards would come back. Okay.
Yeah. So that was the kind. I was kind of mystified with that, how these people were mingling. There wasn't a lot of them, but this Bostock never get touched, and he was a bad sick bastard. So he was for doing that to the two girls. But that was back in '97.
And did you come across the Crays as well at some point?
Yeah. What happened was Charlie Craig at 12 years, and he ended up next door to me.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, one of the Crays and that. And I got talking away to him and all that. And I asked him, did he know this bring me figure up in Glasgow, the Godfather Glasgow at the time?
I was reading about him in your book, yeah.
Yeah, so I say, somebody says, of course I know him. He says, the twins knew him very well. He says, he would come down and work for them and they would get him to work for them. I never went into the details. So Charlie came across as quite a good guy. He says to me, he says, he got 10 years when he got their life. And when he got out, he says everybody used to come up to him, oh, how's the brothers? So he told me a few stories. He says he went to QA2 for a cruise. He says there was a couple of famous actors in that, but everybody ran to Charlie Craig. Can I get your autograph, Mr. Craig? How's the twins? And he would tell me stories, and he says, you'll meet Reggie. Reggie was coming to the final thing with his sentence. It was an old man then. I think he was doing in Norwich at the time, and he was coming for a week for visits. They'd allowed that. So he says, oh, you'll meet Reggie. And I went, this will be great. And Eddie Richardson, who was another great pal of mine, fair in there. He was in the food boat with me and Ronnie O'Sullivan and that. It was a snooker player's dad. Eddie Richardson, we were in the food boat and he was in the other landing, and there was a story about I'll go back to Crazy in a minute, but there was a story about Eddie. We're sitting and he says to me, you're still a young man. I went in at 30 expecting to get about 40, which I did 10.5 years, and he says, what are you going to do? I said, don't know, just hurrying it to go quick to get it. He says, why don't you take up skiing? I went, skiing? I says, that's fucking too dangerous. He went, no, he says, and Eddie, he got his sentence. Eddie got what sentence did he get? Eddie got 20, I think it was 22 years or something.
For what?
For 150 kilo of cocaine. It was a big sentence he got at 54 years of age. And he says, no, he says, up to before I get out, I went skiing. He says, you can still get a suntan. And I just thought it was a strange thing, he says. But getting back to the craze, I said, and everybody was all kind of talking, saying, oh, this is going to be great, this. You're going to have the two craze in this section, and you're going to have Eddie Richardson, because there was a rivalry years ago, but time had moved on. And so Reggie came to the next one, chapped the door after about a day, chapped the door, and Charlie was there, and we with Reggie, and he went, oh, Charlie's told me all about you for Glasgow, and he shook my hand, and I'm glad to meet you. I think I washed my hand for a week after it, because everybody was all fascinated. Yeah, the fascination was still there. Yeah, so I just couldn't believe that I met him, even though he was an older guy and he was coming to the end of his sentence. So they were walking around the yard and all that, and everybody used to go like, fuck, that was some 40 day free. Because they were talking, Eddie Richardson and the Crazy were talking then. And so I says to Charlie, to Reggie Cray, I was sitting one day having a cup of tea, And I says, me and you have got something in common. And he says, what's that, Ian? I says, we're Mammy's boys. And he went, what? I says, aye. I says, I've read all the stories about your mother Violet. You had all got up the stairs for tea and all that. Your mum get tea. And he says, aye, that's right. And that. So that was me meeting the craze, Eddie Richardson. I actually went to see Eddie Richardson about 15 years ago. And I rushed up the road. I was going to this Archie's nightclub at the time. I was taking eckies and all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you've took them yourself.
Ecstasy.
I know your story, Shaun, you know what I mean? You get 6 years in Arizona and the Sammy Bull hanging all that, and I found it fascinating. I read your first 3 books, The Hard Time, The Prison Time, but I see you've got the Two Tonys you'd mentioned, Dame, in it.
I've brought you a copy of
Have you brought me a copy?
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
And I've saw you've done one with Pablo Escobar. You've done great, mate.
He was a mama's boy, Escobar. His mama even said he had mama-itis.
We'll see the Pablo Escobar thing. I just watched it on Netflix there. It was about 90 episodes and it was subtitles, and I could have watched another 100 here.
El Patron de Mal, Lord of Evil.
I'm fascinated with that. But I read. Can I show you something?
Yeah, go for it.
No, your books and that, and I find it fascinating when you were a stockbroker, you were doing well, and you get into the e-scene and that.
Yeah.
And so you were getting on porty and you were doing well, and but the bit that fascinates me is the Sammy Bull Gravano.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be in witness protection.
Yeah.
And is it not been that he was running another crime gang or something?
So they gave Sammy the Bull a pass to testify against John Gotti.
Right.
They put him in witness protection in Tempe, Arizona, which was like the party central place where I had my best mate Wildman live in.
Yeah.
And we set up this ecstasy ring. Well, we got in there before the Bull though, and we like locked down the local scene. We were in with all the local people. They supported us, provided information. That's how I built my bouncers. And then all of a sudden, these steroid head jock characters start popping up selling pills, and we're like, who the fuck are these guys? Then, but it got heavy because, you know, he didn't have the Gambino crime family behind him at this point,
right.
But he did have these big steroid head white supremacist guys called the Devil Dogs,
right.
Who would beat people up and yelp like dogs while they brutalized people. And some of his crew lured my top sales guy, Skinner, to a nightclub in Scottsdale, saying they were going to do a deal.
Yeah.
Took him to the men's room and knocked his teeth out and took all of his money and took all of his drugs. And I was thinking earlier on when you were on about getting paranoid and everyone's against you and the gangster threat and all this.
Yeah.
And the guns are legal in Arizona. And I had a concealed weapons permit, trained to shoot by the police to kill a home intruder, you know, put 2 in the chest, 1 in the nose, whatever. So when all this was kicking off with Sammy the Bull's crew, like you said, you had these gangster rivals.
Yeah.
I had this big bed and I had a shotgun fully loaded, ready to go. And either side of the bed, I moved 100 miles away from Phoenix to Tucson in this gated guarded community. Hopefully they couldn't get up the street, but if they did, I had these 2 guns. But the Bull, you know, he was still, his attitude was, they've put me in witness protection. I'm not going to go out there laying low with some phony beard on. If they're going to come for me, they're going to come for me, and I'm ready. And he had all these booby traps in his house, and he was good to go. And actually, the day he was arrested, the feds actually saved his life because the Gotti crew were in town with a bomb and surveillance.
Did you know where he was?
Oh, they were watching. They were about to take him out.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing with those guys. You know, for the rest of their lives now.
I found it fascinating. This guy, he admitted 19 murders, and he ratted. He ratted on John Gotti, which shows a liberty. So it was. Yeah. And because I'm criminal minded, and the guy was just a rat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I found it amazing that he was still operating and all that. And but you say he was ready to get took it, because am I right in saying that he got another sentence? He got see when he got out for the informant snitching on John Gotti, in the Arizona thing. He got another sentence, didn't he, for the ecstasy thing?
All right, so he was the head of the ecstasy conspiracy.
Right.
I can't remember whether he got 15 or 20 years or somewhere in that
He
range.
did get a big sentence, aye.
Yeah, the son got slightly more than me, I think. And what they did was, in their plea agreement, they agreed to let the women off if the men would take the fall for it. Something like that. That was part of it, I think. Right. 57 people, I believe, were arrested in their case, and they all agreed to testify against and cooperate with the authorities. Right. In mine, over 100 arrested, only 4 agreed to cooperate. Everybody stood really tight. Right. And there was a point where, when we were going court, I don't know whether the guards were taking the piss or what, but I don't know if you've seen any of my videos on YouTube with Wildman. He was one of my dancers. Yeah,
Wildman's he's like one of the favourite characters.
Yeah. The guards actually chained Sammy the Bull's son to Wildman when we were all going court, and Wildman was like, because we had this war going before, but we was like, once we're in there was no point in doing that, because we were all trying to do everything we possibly could to beat our case.
But so the Wildman, I think they get see the way my perception, he doesn't give 2 fucks.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't give 2 fucks.
He doesn't give 2 fucks, but I could guide him when there were major issues arising. He would listen. I was one of the few people he would listen to. Yeah. So what we did was we sat down with Sammy the Bull's son. Wildman was cuffed to him. He had no choice. And he basically, because their ecstasy case was running a couple of years before mine, right, he was giving us a load of information of what could possibly happen next. Right. So we got a lot of good information out of him that night in the holding cell. Right. Yeah. Well, they went to Hollywood, didn't they? Karen Gravano is the star of Mob Wives.
Mob Wives, I know.
Yeah, so they're legit. Yeah. I have been in contact with Gerard Gravano on email, and there's no issues there.
I saw something on YouTube about John Gotti Jr.
Yeah,
and they gave him a lot of hard time, so they did, and his dad get put in the Supermax, and he never saw anybody for 10 years and get the cancer and that. Yeah, and he was allowed to visit with him and that.
Yeah,
so I was watching that.
That was the Supermax the federal Supermax in Colorado.
Colorado,
the highest level
and all
one.
that, and it's you don't see anybody or nothing like that.
Yeah. They very rarely get to see anything in there.
That's Sammy the Bull. I just thought he was a dirty snitch. You know what I mean? For doing that.
Yeah, he was the highest ranking member of the mafia to turn informant at that point in time, and a lot of people then thought, right, well, if the Bull's gonna snitch, we're gonna snitch. Yeah. And a load of people ended up getting life sentences, and that's why people are still inside now because of what he said. So they're going to be looking over their shoulders for the rest of their lives. You saw what happened with Whitey Bulger.
Aye, he just done him in, didn't
he?
He came in.
Yeah.
He was sitting in a wheelchair, and even though he was 80 odds to get done, he moved to another facility, didn't he?
Yeah.
And they just done him written. It was a guy for the mafia that done that.
Well, that's it. I mean, he fed information to the FBI about the mafia.
He was doing that for years, and his brother was a mayor or something like that as well.
Yeah.
So at that time, he had his crime empire. He was getting info on people, and it's not too late to get killed. He get killed. What, he was 88.
You never know why that stuff's going to catch up.
Yeah, I know.
Like you mentioned about the Americans watching my YouTube channel. A lot of them are young people, and the most watched rapper right now for the young people. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy called Tekashi 6ix9ine.
He's in the jail, isn't he?
He's got the rainbow coloured hair, and he has just agreed to cooperate against the 9 Trey Blood Gang, which was started out of the prison system in because
this guy was going to become really, really famous, this rapper, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I knew he's in the jail.
But now he will be looking over his shoulder like the Bull,
nickname, is it?
Or like Bulger for the rest of his life. They're saying they're going to put him in witness protection. This rapper, and he's got 6ix9ine on his face. So
it's not going to be hard to find him walking down the street, is it?
It's not going to be hard to find him, and I think also they'll go after his family and his loved ones and stuff like that right now, because he's not actually got up in court and testified yet. Yeah. But in his plea bargain, he's saying, look, if you guys will drop all of the charges against me, I'll give you everything you want. I'll give you the goods on all these guys. Yeah. But you might think that's going to be an easy ride, but it's not going to be an easy ride.
Is it fucked?
He's fucked, isn't he?
That, aye, definitely.
Yeah.
Definite.
So
yes.
his music career, how is he? But maybe they can cash in and say he's the guy that can't ever do a concert again because the hitmen are going to come and get him or whatever. Yeah.
It's up in Glasgow just now, Shaun. It's like the Wild West. There's all sorts of things with unsolved shootings and stabbings and slashings.
Yeah.
They're running amok. I think it's the same in Liverpool everywhere just now. People, the young team now, they just don't give a fuck. They just don't. But in my days, when I was younger, we were wild. But you get shot for the slightest thing now.
Well, a lot of it is driven by they made drugs illegal and create this huge black market, and a lot of it's now they're fighting over that black market profit.
That's what it is.
It's taking over the entire world.
It is about the drugs and that, so it is.
Yeah.
It is. So can I get back to seeing I was coming to the end of my sentence?
Yeah.
So
before you get to any sentence, I've just got a quick question.
Yeah.
I think people will be fascinated. What are the difference between Cat A, Cat B, and Cat C prisons that you experience? And I imagine that's the equivalent to like maximum security, medium security, and minimum security, maybe.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that? What the difference are in the privileges and how often you get out of your cell? Visitations, you get more visits, things like that.
We'll see Cat A, Shaun. A lot of people think that Cat A prisoners are locked up 23 hours a day.
Right.
They're no.
Okay.
See, when you're in the dispersal system, you're still mingling about with the prisoners.
You can go into a day room.
I see about 30 years ago, they would put your light on every hour and all that. That doesn't happen now.
Wake up in the night.
Because that's a form of torture. They don't do that now, right? So when I was in Cat A, was just the main thing was you couldn't get through the system.
Yeah.
You couldn't progress. Take Cat B, take Cat C.
Mm-hmm.
But you were still say you were in and you were Cat B, you were next door to me. You still had the same privileges and whatever. But the big thing was people were vetted for visits and things like that.
Visits is less.
I couldn't get everybody in. You could get people in, and so that was it. And in England, apart from Scotland, England you can cook all your own foods. You've got fridges, freezers. You can go to the canteen. That's a shop, and you can buy any sort of a herb, vegetables, fruit, mince, steaks, Black Forest gattles, ice cream, and you had people there from China, India, Italy, all over the world. And some of the meals I tasted in there were cordon bleu. There was a guy, Davy Poole. Davy was in one of the prisons ways, and he was a Knightsbridge robber. And it was done with an Italian guy. And I think he ended up getting shot in Italy once he get released. But they took fortunes out of that. Well, Davy pulled some of the meals he made. He could have been a cordon bleu chef on MasterChef. So he could have. So it wasn't just all doom and gloom. Sorry. I'd quite, after the 5-year period for the thing with, and actually took ecstasy in the prison as well. And people,
I once sold ecstasy to prison guards who were bringing it into the prison for the prisoners.
Yeah. So this guy Mal from Manchester was coming up, and he was giving me these tablets. So I had this thing with my pals. There was 4 of us. So on a Friday, you could wear all your own clothes and all that. We'd all be running about like wee schoolboys and that. So we're taking an eckie the night, and this is the top security prison in full sitting. So we were cleaners on the wing, so we done the cleaning and cooked the foods, and we had pasta and all that. People were like, we having pasta for all, going to have a lot of energy tonight. I think they thought you were going with a bird or something, a girlfriend. So no, what it was, so we'd have everything done for 4 o'clock. We'd eat for dinner, and you get banged up from 5 to 6 for the thing with the screws and the officers to go for the dinner. So we'd go like that with ecstasy about 10 to 5, boom, boom, boom. So I'd get into my cell and I had a big ghetto blaster, no TVs or that at the time. And I'd have all the thing with all the rave tunes on and that. And Ride on Time, Chicken Black Box, Pump Up the Jam, Technicron, everything on. And after about half an hour, these things were powerful and you'd be like, see the fog. So see the time the door was opened at 6 o'clock. I had my pals round the corner with the IRA boys and that. I'd run round the corner and the screws would be like, oh, for fuck's sake. There was no drug testing at the time. And I would go like, did you see the fog? Is it hot? And they're going, fuck. So they would get into my cell and we would sit there. There would be no booze. I'm saying no booze as if we're in the Hilton or something. But there would be no hooch and we had cans of Iron Brew and cans of Coke. And seeing that, and there was a wee exercise yard in full sitting for each of the wings. And we'd go out there and have a walk and all that, and we'd be buzzing, going, this is fucking great. But all the other prisoners are looking at us thinking we're fucking stark raving maniacs, saying, how the fuck can you take an ecstasy pill in prison? So to me, it was a release for me.
Yeah.
And even though you're only in a wee cell, people go, I couldn't do that, be too claustrophobic, be too this, be too that. And I would come out the next time, I would have the music pumped up, I had the big ghetto blaster, and about 1 o'clock in the morning, everybody's like, no, I mean, it's fucking guys from London, I'd kill you. So then I'd turn it down. So they used to go like that. The next one is Saturday, we used to sit on Friday, and the Saturday, all the wings went to a football field and congregated, and they were going, Owen was on the Eckies last night and all that, and they're going, how can you take it? And I'm going, fucking easy, it's great. I said, I'm still buzzing. And I'm saying to these guys this day, I was up in the tunnel last night, mate. They went, what, the Dartford Tunnel? I went, no, the tunnel's a nightclub in Glasgow. I says, I used to go to it before I get arrested. And but then they'd go like that, going to give warning you when you're taking another recce out of the guys in the wing. But it was good.
In terms, you touched on there about going past the fitness place. In the different security levels, what access did you have to fitness equipment or weights or anything?
Plenty.
Even in the maximum?
Yeah, see the maximum with plenty, Shaun, right?
Yeah.
As I keep saying, the security was paramount. You don't escape. We had a well-stocked gymnasium. I was on the rowing machine.
Yeah.
And I could do 10,000 metres, 4 minutes 1,000.
Mm-hmm. And
I concentrated mostly cardiovascular, but there was weights, bikes, rowing machines, there was badminton, soft tennis. So there was everything.
And in maximum security, how often could you access that?
You could go see at the beginning. I could go 2 or 3 times a day.
2 or 3 times a day?
Shaun,
like an hour or something?
You're not just like American, you're not just locked in the cell.
I see.
A lot of people have got the perception that a category A prisoner is locked in the cell 23 years. Yeah, but seeing Belmarsh and that and like say stuff, you're locked up a bit longer there, but see once you go to serve your time.
Yeah.
Like Sir Phil Sutton, Franklin's, Parkhurst, Long Lartin, all these places, you were kind of a set free.
Yeah.
You were just you were next door to people that was Cat B in it.
Yeah.
And you were Cat A. It didn't make much of a difference. It made the difference try to get released, so it did.
And what about, what security level have you got to be in to have a contact visit where you can actually hug your woman in the visit room and sit at a table?
Well, seeing a Cat A thing, mate, you could do that anyway.
You can do that in Cat A?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you could
so
do
different.
that. No, you could do that, but see at the beginning, 1991, 92, can you believe there was no cameras in the visit rooms?
No cameras.
So listen to this, there was guys sitting,
yeah,
right? These guys would sit, the prison gave you these big coats to go to exercise and that, and there was some guys sitting having sex with their wives and that.
Yeah.
And I was getting booze smuggled in. My brother Gary, he used to come in with half bottles of vodka and that, taped him and that, and bring me to have a drink on the visit. He'd do things like that, and he'd bring me hash and that in as well. But no, there wasn't a lot of restrictions in the gym. The gyms are all fantastic and all that.
Did you have a fitness routine that you did?
Yeah, well, I used to do at the beginning, I couldn't play that soft tennis or badminton. After about 6 years, I was a Scottish internationalist. I used to play a guy, Mickey Gillette for Preston, but he beat me. He was a gym pass man. I actually met Mickey up in Blackpool. I was at the Pleasure Beach about 6 years ago. The guys went, Ian, I went, who's that? And I went, fuck it, how you doing, Mick? And he was a great guy. But in the prison, I had a kind of a, I used to do running as well. You could run out in the fields. See, in the summer you had field nights, and you could go out on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Saturday. I used to go out and run about 8 mile, and I was mostly into cardiovascular, and I learnt the rowing machine. That was good. That does every bit of your body, and the bikes. And when I done weights, I can say I wasn't a heavy weightlifter. I was only lifting 80, 90 kilo, and I was doing light weights just to keep myself fit, whereas there was other guys pushing 200 and nearly breaking their back. But I was never into the heavy weights. But you were allowed to go to the gym quite a lot.
Did they have boxing rings?
No, but they had boxing matches.
Yeah.
They did square goes.
You're
So
right.
they did down at the gym.
Yeah.
Where it'd be organised. It happened rarely, but somebody would say, right, go down to the gym on Saturday and get into this room and we'll sort this out.
Yeah.
And there was one occasion, my pal Warren Slaney, we were up in Franklin's, and there was this guy, Warren and who's still in. We became a good pals of mine. Warren's in for killing two people in Leicestershire. It was called the Hamburger Wars, and he stole about 40 grand or something. But Warren's still protesting his innocence just now, and he's running about 25 years at least, and he could box. And so we were up in Franklin's, and there was this guy now telling me that the cooking, so the yardies, a lot of yardies and that, so they used to get into we had a kind of routine where they would get into their cooking first. They would be making jerk chicken, black eyed peas and all of that, and I became a lover of that. I liked that, so I did. And I used to say, I'm going to make me that, I'll give you chicken and black eyed peas and that. And so Warren was in the kitchen in Franklin's, and he was arguing with this guy. The guy was about 22 stone, a yard, and he was in for 50 kilo of coke or something. He's in it 25 years. So they had an argument, people kind of broke it up and weren't shouting, and so they arranged a square go, a fighting match in the gym. And I went, I said, I think if Warren's mate is Max Shear. Warren knocked fuck at him.
Did he?
Warren knocked fuck at him.
How long did it last?
About 3 or 4 minutes.
Really?
And Warren had to get dragged after the guy. He was kicking his head and everything.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot. So, know what I liked about the Londoners and things like that. Right, they're all in the prison. They're all health motivated. They treat the prisons as a health centre.
Yeah.
And they eat properly, you know. I used to drink loads of iron brew and all that, and I used to take sugar in my tea, and I stopped doing that and started drinking loads of water. I still do that to this day.
Yeah.
And no sugar in my tea, and they treated it as they're very courteous to the staff, the Londoners and that. And this is guys doing 25 years for heavy drugs charges and armed robberies and things like that. Guy from Brinksmart was in and all that, Chernow and Mickey, and so they were always polite to the officers, but see if anybody started on them, Shaun, they would get one warning, maybe 2 at the most, because they didn't want trouble. They wanted to just do their time and get out.
Yeah.
But see, what they would do, guy would be in the pool room, couple of things in a sock, and just kind of smash fuck out the guy in the pool room.
Yeah.
But you would always get a warning. Now people just jump in. They were very polite and courteous, the Londoners.
Did anyone try you?
Well, did I tell you about the fight?
Which one?
Did I tell you about the fight where I get my dislocated shoulder? Did I get into that one?
You gave me some last night, but we've not discussed it today.
Have I not discussed it? When I was with a guy, Perry Worry, he was in for killing a cop. And a guy, Charlie McGee, a guy Hurley. They were in London, and they were doing a bank, and they came out the bank, and an off-duty copper get shot. So I became pals with Perry, and I was up in Franklin's, and I was there for a few months. I think it was 96, and they just moved me for 4 months. I found out later they didn't want me to be in the same hall as my two we were the same wing as my two co-accused. So I arrived, I think it was a Tuesday or something, in Long Lartin. I'd been there before. And Perry and that was there, and Billy the Fish from Manchester. And well, he was doing the bottom flat. So they says to us, look Ian, this is going to be a wee party for you on Friday. Where he says, I'm getting a bit of puffing that in. It's cannabis. And Billy, he always made drink. So I says, I'll look forward to Friday then. So I went to selling the Friday and sitting there and just chatting away. So this guy comes in and he was like that. He says to Billy the Fish, he says, is there any extra drink there? Meaning the hooch. And he says, no mate. He says, I think we've only got enough for selling about, right, no bother, blah 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 blah. And then he kind of says something cheeky. And I didn't know who he was. And I just stood up and I went, here mate, I says, get the fuck out of the cell. I says, you're not my cruiser. I didn't even know what a cruiser was myself then. I just thought cruising for booze. And he looked at me as if he was going to punch me, and I just went out with the door. So Perry and Billy went, by the way, he's a fucking bit of a madman. They were calling him Mad Dog, and there's another guy called Mad Dog up in Scotland. This guy was called, I says, fuck him. I says, not gonna fuck. I had a Rangers top on. You could wear all your own stuff. So about an hour later, an hour and a half later, it was near the end of the association period. It was about 8:45, 10:09. Fucking door flies open, and this Mad Dog guy goes like to me, you fucking bastard, and he tried to punch me, but he missed me. So Perry's jumped up, Billy's jumped up, and before you know it, we're in the bottom landing in Long Lartin in this top security nick, and we're all fighting like fuck, but we were using jam jars, for the drink. And I kept running to get these jam jars, and I was running out and I was smashing where this fucking Mad Dog said. Then I slipped, and he was trying to fucking get me, and I slipped through all the booze and fuck knows what, and the bells were going off and all that, the alarms, and before the screws rushed in, I've slipped in the flare with the floor, and he took a run at me and he was going to kick me in the face, and I realised that was so, and he's fucking kicked my finger, my shoulder. So before the screws come in, I get pulled into a cell with a couple of guys, and I was like, fuck, I think my arm's broke. And he went, you'll be all right. But the screws knew I was in there, so they come in. So I say it was a Friday night, so they went like, right, come on, we know you're involved. So I was the last person to go up to the surgery unit, and the other screws were all lined up in the wing and up the hall and all the way up to surgery unit. And I was walking all the way up like that. I was going, fuck this. And they went, and I could hear all the screws going, fucking hell, that was some fight, that. So sixes. So I've got up there and they've put me in the same room as Billy the Fish and Perry. Perry had a couple of teeth out, and Billy had cut head. But they had a bit of damage to them. The other people, they were kept apart. So Billy and Perry get dealt with an hour or two later, and they were away. So I'm still sitting there, and they're waiting on a doctor coming in to see me, and I heard them all kind of going like, we should be in the fucking social club. The prison officers all want to go for a drink on Friday night, and they've got a social club next to the prison. So they came to me, and their attitude was kind of just say he's all right and fuck it. But I says, no, I want the full treatment what's wrong, because it was really, really killing me, even though I took hash and drink. And so the doctor were like that. So they tried to cut my toe open. I went, you're not cutting that, it's a Ranger's toe. so they pulled it off us, and they were laughing. And the doctor went like that. He says, no, he says, he needs to go to hospital. He says, you've dislocated your shoulder. I didn't really know what that was, but Shaun, I think you're better getting your arm broke, because a dislocated shoulder is sore. So I'm waiting, and I'm going, fuck, and the drink's kind of wearing off, and the hash and that. And I'm saying, what the fuck's keeping them? So I get took down to the gate, get put into the prison van, I'm a Cat A, and the next minute there's fucking sirens and all that, and they've took me with armed police, they've took me to Redditch, that's what it was. They took me to Worcestershire Redditch Hospital, and when I got out the van, it was it was a mad scene for me, because I'm going, oh, this for me, and country machine guns and hats and all that. So I was still cuffed, and I get put under, and they pulled my arm in. So I get took back to the prison, and they put me into the block, and Perry was in there, and other people in another bit, and shouting out the window, and I says, oh, Perry, I says, I've got a dislocated shoulder, and I've got this slinging out on, and it wasn't a couple of days later I found out what the problem was, why they were taking so long to take me to the hospital. They had a chief constable talking to a governor at the gate of the prison, saying, should we take Ian MacDonald just in the ordinary van, or should it be an armed convoy? And because I'd only arrived 3 days, they thought I was trying to escape. But see, to tell you the truth, see if I could have escaped, I wouldn't have, because I was such pain in my arm. So that's why that happened. But a couple of days after that, they put me and Perry back in the wing and kept these other guys, because Perry was well respected. No, the other guys are going, I'm going to fucking kill these cunts and all that. So I thought nothing else was happening there, but then my door opened, and the screws were all with shields. They're like, right, come on, get up, you're moving, and I've got my sling on my finger. So they took me to the block, and I thought I was just going into the block, but there was a governor there, and he says to me, you're going, he didn't tell me I was going, he says you've been placed on GOAD, and in England that means good order and discipline. What they do is they can put you to another prison for a month and then bring you back. So they took me to Belmarsh, and they put me, I wasn't in this high security unit, I was in the ordinary prison, but they put me in the block there. And the next morning, screws have come in, took my mattress. I says, we need to, I says, this is the rules. And then the next morning, 2 prison officers came in and they went, I think he needs a shave. I'm 35, 36 years of age. It's in Boston, things like that, you maybe get told to have a shave or detention. And they says, here, I says, I'm not having a shave. I says, I'm not a wee boy. They says, well, Rangers and Celtic are playing tonight, and see that radio sitting there, see if you don't take a shave. They says, well, take your radio. I says, I ain't bother. So I went out to exercise, and I came back, my fucking radio was away. Dirty bastards took my radio. I only wanted to listen to the football. And I think I'd been about 6 years at the time, and I used to listen to 5 Live, and it was a football. And so I was shouting out the window and all that. Anybody tell me the thing with the score of Rangers and Celtic? They're shouting, shut up, you Scottish bastard, and all that. So they were playing wee games there as well.
Yeah.
And they were fucking putting my hats up and banging the door and all that. So I was there for a month, and I get took back to Longlartin, so I did. But I've saw a lot of violent incidents. I've actually found 2 people dead, Shaun.
Found them dead.
Found them dead, and they've hanged themselves.
That's one story, or that's 2 stories?
No, two separate stories. Yeah.
What was the circumstances around them?
Well, the first story, there was a guy from Liverpool, and Jimmy Collingwood, his name was, and he was across from me in full satin, and when I told you get locked up for 5 to 6 o'clock, bang up, and you could put a wedge in your door. People could put a wee thing with a wee wedge, and it couldn't get right open, so they couldn't really get his door open. Then and we managed to shove his door open, me and a pal. But I always imagine somebody that's hanging is hanging through the bars or something. But Jimmy was sitting on his chair, and he was hanging back like this, and he had a wire. I couldn't see it because it was dark. He had a wire thing made, noose around his neck onto the bar, and he was slipping down and pulling himself. Yeah. So that night I get drunk and I've shouted out the window, and I'm shouting, they fucking killed him. I says, I never saw any. I says, he wasn't hanging up. So the prison officers came to me the next day, and they took me down to the block. They says, listen, you're shouting he's been murdered. He's not been murdered. They says, we know Ian, it sounds a bit strange. He was sitting on a chair. He says, but he had a noose around him, and I says, well, I thought if you hung yourself, you were hanging for bars or that. And they issued letters and they put it through all the doors and all of that. And 2 days later, this quite decent governor came to me, and he says, look, Ian, he says, I know you're upset and all of that with Jimmy and what's happened, and you have been shouting out your window, we've killed him. He says, but we're going to put you back to your cell. And it was a Friday, and I was like, the boys are having a party now, a drink anyway. And I says, aye, okay then. They says, but keep your thing there, thoughts to yourself. You know what I mean? Because there was an inquest, and I went to the inquest. It was in Hull, so it was, and it all the details and that came out.
What about the other body you found?
It did. Oh, this was in another prison, and I never actually found it. This person, I was just round the corner, and there was another guy 30 odds, and people were like, oh, somebody's, and I went round it, but I never went into the cell. But I knew the guy, you know what I mean? But I don't want to mention his name, and it was just tragic. So it was, and we hear that.
Another suicide.
Aye, that was another suicide. And I'd like to speak about, well, Jimmy Collingwood. I think a lot to it was to do with smack, and which I didn't agree in, Shaun. And it would have kept the jails a lot quieter, less trouble. See, when Michael Howard came into power, and I told you about the Alan Byrne story, and I told you about he came in, crime and punishment, and it's going to be more thing for prisons, more harder. Well, he brought in a thing called drug testing. And we all smoked hash. I smoked hash 5-6 years, and hash stays in your body for 3 days, but heroin, no, sorry, hash stays in your body for 28 days, and heroin and cocaine stays in your body for 3 days.
So hash is like a form of smoking marijuana, isn't it?
Yeah, it's marijuana. Yeah, it's like a brick. There was none of the grass of that at the time in the 90s or that. So so a lot of people, and a lot of well-respected people, and a lot of kind of a gangster people started going on heroin.
Switch to heroin
because it was 3 days. Because if you get pulled up with the hash and that been in your system, they would take days off you. You'd take 7 or 14 days, and you could accumulate months or a year or something after sentence.
And that's why they've gone to spice now, because it doesn't show at all.
Yeah, is that true?
Doesn't show in the piss test.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's spice? Is
spice? Yeah.
So that doesn't show in a piss test. Right. So this was a big, and I was gutted. I tried to stop smoking it, and then I had to smoke it because I had to go through all these. I done like the courses to try to get AFCAT A.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go and do courses like enhanced thinking skills, whereas you're doing all these subjects in the roles, you're playing role playing, and it was teaching you sort of for when you're getting released, how about money and how to look after yourself, and there was another couple of courses, but there was one course in full sitting which I didn't agree with. In full sitting, there was a sex offenders unit there, and we says, right, we'll do this course, but better not be any sex offenders. So we were in the course for about 3 days, and somebody says there's a sex offender sitting amongst you for one of the wings. So we says it was 2 lassies that was running the course, and it was about 3 or 4 of us, and we says, look, there's a sex offender, we don't know who he is. I says, but we'll not be back. I know. She turned round and says, and what about it? And we said, well, we get told for we're principal officer and we're SO officer for the wing that no, it will just be fine with the other wings, will not be sex offenders. And she turned round and she says to me, she says, you're just as bad. And I says, and how do you make that out? She says, well, you've premeditated your crime, blah, 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 blah. And she was sticking up for them. She says they've no planned that, and I thought that's fucking disgusting. It was, and I says to this woman, I says, because there was a lot of bad people in, right? lot of bad sex offenders. They're kidnapping childs and all that. And I said, how would you like it if it's happened to you? No, that's nothing to do with it and all that. But there was a place in England and I get threatened to get sent to it. And it's called Wakefield. But there's a nickname for it. It's called Monster Mansions. And the place is full of... There's some things you couldn't even talk in this programme that they've done to kids. But there was a guy up there, I'll give you an idea, there was a guy up there called Black, and he just died. He should have died fucking earlier, fucking with a badder death. He kidnapped 3 young girls. He was a van delivery driver, and kidnapped 3 young girls and done one in Scotland, Edinburgh, and England. And he killed them, sexually abused them. And then they found out he'd done somebody in England, a young girl in Northern Ireland, and he took her there. But the reason he got caught, he was in Scotland and he threw this young girl up, taped her up, threw in the back of the van, and some vigilant neighbour had spotted him and he got caught at the borders. But this is just a sample of the type of prisoner in this Monster Mansions, you know what I mean?
Did you come across the Moors murderers?
I didn't come across Myra Hindley or the other one, but I was in Durham at a young age, and there was, well, I was in Risley Grizzly. There was a place, and there was a women's bit in it, and Myra Hindley was in the women's bit, and we used to shout her at night, but I never saw her. And we used to shout her and she'd get abuse and all that. And
just for the American viewers, you want to explain what Myra Hindley did?
Yes, Myra Hindley and Ian Brady. I think there've been 2 of the worst sex offenders and murderers in British history. The 2 of them were going out and they were kidnapping young girls and young boys, and they were taking them back to the house and they were torturing them, sexually abusing them. And it was the case, if I remember rightly, the case was so bad. And when they eventually went to court, they'd actually played recordings.
They taped some of the
torture, yes, Shaun, they taped them, and it was, and the young people, and they were buried, a lot of them were buried, it was at Saddleworth Moor or
I think so.
Something like that. But Ian Brady, I think he died as well, but Myra Hindley, the 2 of them were bad bastards. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah.
It's
up there with, well, Rose and Fred West. The BBC just recently tried to do a documentary about them, and I believe it's been postponed for legal reasons.
Right. I saw that.
Did you hear anything about them?
I saw that. I was in jail when when Fred West hung himself and all that.
You was there when he hung himself in that?
I was in England.
Okay.
And I think he done it on remand. He wasn't even 9 months into remand and he just hung himself. But that was in Cromwell Street, wasn't it? And and they were the same. They 2, Rose and Fred West, were going about in the car, and she would stop the car and she'd say to a lone female, "Do you want a lift?" And they'd take them back to the house, think there's a dungeon down there. And I think they've done about 20 or 30 people.
Well, they did their own daughter, didn't they? And they would joke at the family meal. The kids would say, "Where's so and so?" And they joke that she's buried under there, and that's going to happen to you.
Yeah, I know.
If you say anything.
Yeah, I know. No, it was bad.
Really bad.
No, there was a lot of bad people. There was a lot of bad.
He was prostituting his wife out to the police.
That's right.
And one of the reasons they think he got away with it for so long was he was giving information to the police. He had a relationship with her and prostituting his wife out, and he was snitching out drug dealers.
Oh, see, the strange thing, did you know he had an ice cream van in Scotland?
Oh, did he?
That's Fred West, and they're sending the DNA up there.
Bloody hell.
So there. But no, there was a lot of bad sex offenders in the jails, to tell you the truth. The jails are bursting at the point with sex offenders.
Yeah.
So there. And I don't know how prison officers can wake them up in the morning and say hi, and it's bad like that. That young girl I know, it's Sarah Payne's daughter. She went missing, and I think she brought a law, Sarah's law or something.
Yeah.
And her husband, unfortunately, he died with drink and all that. And she was abducted as well. She was only 5 or something. And there's been a few bad ones in England.
Yeah, that Lucy girl, that he's going to court now, isn't he? He was in his 20s. He was like a homeless tattoo artist or something.
There's some cases in England where you couldn't even read about it. It's so horrific. I've been told.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah,
so it is.
So what would you say the hardest part about prison was for you?
That, right, you're going to find this a bit strange, right? Remember I told you, I says the first 5 years was me struggling trying to adopt it. Well, this is one of the hardest parts, and this should have been the easiest. I get moved up to Shotts for my last year, and Shotts is HMP Shotts. It's in Scotland. It's just outside of Glasgow, and I get moved up there for my last year, and I got parole the second time. And the night before I get out, I was walking up and down my cell, and I says, I don't want to get out, because I went, what am I going to do? I've been looked after for 10 years. I've had all my foods. I've no needed to worry about a mortgage or money. I says, and I'm 40 years of age now. I've been in 10.5 years. I don't want to go out and get into crime. But for me personally, I was never showed any rehabilitation, and that's what prison's all about. And they wouldn't get away with it in this day and age. And this was 2001 I was getting released. Prisoners nowadays, if they're doing a 15-year sentence, they'll do 5 years and they'll go to an open prison, and they'll get to work with the community and all that. So I never got that, so I never knew anything else. So I was that night, and I do find it strange, because I was always saying for years, I can't wait to go out, can't go out, time's dragging. Then it came to the D-Day, and I didn't want out. But another bad bit was I got accused. Remember I told you earlier on in the story, I says, my missus Sheila, she says, don't slash a prison offer, I'll wait for you for 10 years. Well, I was drinking with the IRA one night. I was in full satin. It was just after the 5 years mark. And I went on the jail phone. I was hitting it and all that. And I went back and she says, what's wrong? I went, I don't know, I was just arguing. So I woke up in the morning, and I went to myself, what did she say to me, that phone? So I phoned her up. You could use the jail phone. I was in the cleaners, so you could use it in the morning. I went, my wee card. And I phoned her, and she says, what are you doing phoning? And I says, what are you on about? She says, did I not make it plain last night that we're over? And I went, what? So to be truthful, I was hurted. And because see when you're in prison, on my perception anyway, Sheila, she's coming up to visit me, and there's only one person in your life. And at that time, Shaun, I was a bit gutted, and I used to say to my pals, they were like social workers, when we come round, I'm going, oh, Sheila's left and all that. And I used to say, if Cindy Crawford came through that door, I would tell her to fuck off. I only want Sheila. But it took me about 6 months to get over that. But something else happened, and it nearly messed my parole up. When I went up to Scotland after the 9-year mark, I was waiting my second parole interview, and I was only in Shotts prison a matter of, I went there January 2001, 2 months, 5 weeks, 2 months. I came back, I was playing badminton, but this time I was fucking cracking at badminton. I couldn't, when I first went in, I was like that, trying to put it over the net. But after 5 or 6 years, I was a Scottish international, going, except when the boy Mickey for Preston used to beat me. But anyway, I've come back for playing badminton. I've done about 10 years, and the way it would have worked out, I'd have been out in 4 or 5 months if I was getting this pro. There's a good chance I was getting it. So 2 wee guys ran out for Govan. And I was sweating and all that, and they went, by the way, you're in the front of the Daily Record. And to explain, the Daily Record is the main Scottish paper up there, and I was in the front of it, and it says something like 50, this guy, my ex had took up with this millionaire, and it says I'd put a 50,000 hit on him for my prison cell, and it says run away. There's a big. He was worth 6 million or something, 10 million, and it says 10 million. Then it's, where was it? And there's a front bit here.
Yeah, so Ian's brought
there's a
mountain of paperwork and scrapbooks of all of his newspaper articles.
There's a thing, mate. I think it's in the other one. This was me supposed to put a £50,000 hit, and inside there's that was a photo of me, and I remember that was me in Lanzarote in 1989.
Tycoon, the gangster of the mall.
And the story was they were taking loads of cocaine at the time, and the story was that when I moved up to Scotland, I think Sheila was saying, look, when Ian gets out, he's going to do you in, but it was nothing to do with me. So the paper, the front of it was saying, that this hit. It says there's a £50,000 thing they hit on it, on him, and says I'd done it for myself. So my mother and sister come up to see me a few days later. They says, didn't I think you sold £50,000? I says, I've not got 50 pence. So that caused me a lot of hassle, and that story came out on a Saturday. I think it was February or March 2001. And as I say, I came back for the gym and that, but see, the Monday when I went to work, I was walking up and down the workshop, and the governor came in, and he went, he says, we saw that story about. I says, I don't know. He says, is that you up to your old games? I says, I've been in 10 years. I says, I can boot in 4 or 5 months here. I says, it's nothing to do with me. He went, pfft. And I went, fucking hell. That was the first thing that'd been in the paper in 10 years with this millionaire guy. So I found out later, when I'd been released, what it was all about. They were taking too much cocaine at the time, and I was at a party, and 2 girls says to us, listen, they says, do you know why this Pat Sweeney story thing came about? I says, no. It says, we're taking cocaine and all that, and Sheila, when you come up to Scotland, says, look, when he comes up, he knows all the IRA and the London gangsters, you're going to get done in. So you're into the paper, and says I had a £50,000 hit on him. So I did, and I was like, ah, fucking hell. But I eventually got parole, so I did. And,
what year did you get parole?
I got parole in 2001. I got out in November. I'd done 10 years, 5 months, 5 days and 5 minutes. And my mother was there waiting on us, and they had a big limo and all that, so they did.
So after going through this prison experience, Ian, did you take it easy then when you got out?
No, well, I decided when I get out, I says to myself, well, I'm a failed bank robber. I says, I'm not going to try anything too soon, too quick again. But because I never did any rehabilitation, and I only knew what best to do was robbing or whatever. So when I came out, after 2 days, when I get out, I went to this nightclub in Glasgow, Victoria's, and I became a permanent figure there. I was in there about 9 months, and I was taking loads of ecstasy, and just, I was 40, and I thought I was 30 years of age again. And I used to keep everybody in after hours in this nightclub, Victoria's. And people used to come up and say, do you own this place and all that? And I was like, oh, no, but it was as if I did own it. But what happened was, the guy had it, I think he got sick of me, and he ended up selling it to a company in Newcastle called Vimac for 6 million. And I went up to the door and the guy says, we know who you are, Ian, blah, 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 blah. There'll not be any more lock-ins or whatever. So after about a second week, the bouncers asked us to leave, and me and Gary just knocked fuck out about 4 of them. And so a few months after that, the social worker I had at the time, now you see a social worker, you're on probation and all that, you're out in licence and things. My social worker was a little bastard, so he was. He fucking ran my life. I was 40 years of age and he was 32. And things I had to report to him, and things I had to report to him if I wanted to move to a new house or anything else. Everything was channeled through him. So I says to him one day, listen, I says, I was only a few months. I says, I've got a house I want you to see. I'm thinking of moving into it. So I told him the address in it. And little did he know it was a 4-bedroom detached house. And he's come up to see this house, and I'm going, he's not says nothing, and I'm busy getting round the house, and I'm going, what do you think of this? And it's got a double garage and barbecue. I says, but the best bit about this is, for me, at the big giant living room, I says, that's where the parties will be after Victoria's, after the Eckies. So once we'd done the tour of the house, I says to him, oh, what did you think? No, that. He went, where are you going to get the money? I says, well, I had a house before I went to prison. I says, I've still got money. Friends have gave us money. And he went, nah, you're not having a better house than me. I looked at him and I went, did I hear him right? And he went, do you want to run down the road this time? And I went, no. I went, fuck all, run down the road. So he became a thorn in my side, and my son had moved to Spain with my ex, and asked to go out to see him. And when I was out about a year, and I got permission, I went there. Then in that was 2002, November 2002. I'd been out exactly a year then. Then in February 2003, the cops, I was away to a gym, and the cops, I was seeing some girl in Curtin Tillock at the time. The cops were up at her door, they were up at my brother Gary's door, they went to my mum's door, and I was walking up a busy street in the west end of Glasgow, Byers Road. I'd just been to Kelvin Hall Gym. My brother phoned us and he says, by the way, he says, you're getting recalled back to prison. I says, how do you know that? He says, there's been coppers up here with guns and all that. And they've been to your girlfriends and my ma's. And he says, look, there's a police intelligence report that's been submitted to, I was still governed by London by then. And so I was on the run. Wasn't on the run, I wasn't handing myself in. Then I went to see my lawyer, and I decided after 5 days, right, I'm not going to go to a police station. I'll go up to Shotts prison where I was released for. And I went up and I chapped the door. And the guy was like that. He went, what are you wanting? He says, I thought you were on the run. I says, I'm not on the run. I says, he says, I'll get the governor and that for you. And the governor came down. Her name, it was a woman governor of Shotts, and her name was Audrey Park. And she says to us, are you not on the run and that? I says, no, I'm not on the run. I says, I've done nothing wrong. She says, it says in the paper that you went to Spain. It was in front of this record says I was away in Spain. I stuck my fingers up to the law and all that. And she says to me, you've got a lovely suntan. I says, it's for a Sunset Beach. No Sunset. I says, it's for a Sunset Sun Beach shop in Glasgow. And she went like that. She says, what do you want me to do? There's a bit in that thing where I handed myself in. She says, what is it you want me to do? She says, because I'm not going to phone the police, which was good there. She could have just phoned the police and says, he's here. And I says, I want you to take me back in. I says, I'm getting recalled and I get let out of here. And she says to me, I can't do that, I've no paperwork. And I kind of begged her. I says, look, I says, going to just take me in and that. And she says, right. She says, if I take you in here, she says, don't be going your bell to get out of here. I says, no bother. So I was in my cell about an hour and I was ready to press the bell. Says, have I done the right thing? So the next morning she came up to see me with the thing with an assistant governor and another prison officer. She says, oh, you've caused me a lot of hassle. I says, how? She says, see when you get locked, I think I handed my cell in about 7 o'clock. She says, I get shouted back down at the gate again. The serious crime squad were there. They says, we know you've got Ian MacDonald back in prison. They says, you're holding him illegally. You better go and get him out. She says, Ian's sleeping. Which I thought, this is what? She says, I says, you were sleeping. She says, he's gone nowhere. I says, thanks, Audrey. I says, see when I get out, I says, I'll take you out for a night out. And she went, I don't think so. And she says, right, she says, your paperwork should be faxed through this morning. And she left me up in this NIC. It was just an induction unit, play something shots. So I was in for, kept me in for 14 months. Somebody for the Parole board, I could have been in for another 5 years. Somebody for the Parole board came up from England and they interviewed me, and the guy says, I don't even know why you're in. He says, this is pure crap. The intelligence report says that I met somebody, there were 6 different things. It says that I'd met somebody in Torquay Street and discussed about getting somebody done in. It was killed. And a lot of crap. My lawyers came up the following week and they says, see the guy that they're mentioning? They're saying the guy's staying 7 years in Kilmarnock prison. And so she must have come out of cell bars and whatever they want, come up and met me and went back in. So that was dismissed. But see, when I told you, me and Gary in Victoria's nightclub, we battered the 4 bouncers. I went to court while I was in the recall. I was only a month or 2. And they wouldn't drop all the charges against me. They dropped the assaults against me, and Gary pled guilty to 2 assaults, got a £500 fine, and I got a 30 days imprisonment. And the judge says to me, you should know better. So automatically that triggered my licence recall. I went back to Shots, and I got a letter. We'd done representations, me and a woman lawyer, Vicky King from London. I was in touch with her. We'd done representations to try and get back out after 6 months, and they says to us, look, the police intelligence report, they says we can't rely on it because this guy was in jail who they says I'd met. They says, but you have breached your licence conditions with pleading guilty to a breach of the peace in this nightclub. So it says licence revoked. So I went up in another 6 or 7 months. I was in 14 months. So I got out on April Fool's Day 2004, and I had summed up my life, and I says to myself, right, okay then, you've done 10.5 years for a failed bank robbery. You've been put back in for a year for enjoying yourself. So I'm coming out April Fool's Day and I'm no fooling about. So get back into serious crime, Shaun. I says fuck it. I get back into serious crime, and I wanted to have all the good things in life, not anyway. Yeah. But I was taking a big chance because I could have got another 15, 16 years. So I get back into serious crime, and I was successful for 5 years. And I went all around the world. I went around Thailand, St Lucia, got a girlfriend, I bought her a penthouse flat, I bought myself a big flat, I had a car I was going about. I was a wee bit of a show off then when I got married. I had a car and I had a Blink registration, that's my nickname, and I was going about. And when I first put this registration number on, people were phoning me up and going, by the way, people in Glasgow are saying you've got Blink on your thing with car. And I says, that's right. They went, did you make it up? I says, don't be silly. I says, I bought it. I had this car registration number for about a year. Then I just put it on when I had a bit of trouble in it. So after 5 and
all the headlines are like Blink and he's gone. Gangster jets to Costa del
Even
Sol.
a thing me talk off of David Beckham earlier. Aye, so after about 5.5 years, I think I'd learnt these places you're in, the jails, are universities really, a crime, so you try and learn how not to get caught. And so I had about a 5.5 year run in organised crime, and I became in a gangland war in Glasgow. Upset these people, told them I knew kids in the block. They thought I was an old guy when I came out, and this is right. So I done something, and a year later people kept saying to me, the comeback's coming. I said, and I was getting these letters for the police, Osmonds, threatening to life things. So in May 2009, I had Danny Dyer. They were going to do a programme on me, and it was called Danny Dyer's Deadliest Men. So there was a cameraman up and another guy up. They were up for a couple of days, and they were start filming me. And Danny Dyer was to come up to my flat up at the Hugginfield Lock. It was a penthouse flat, and everybody knew about it. And the whole of Glasgow wanted to come up to the flat. They says, when Danny Dyer comes up, can we come up? Because he goes and stays with people in this programme. And he was going to stay with me for 2 days. Fuck, he wouldn't have no let you sell in for. So before he came up, it was Friday the 9th of May 2009, there was a bomb found under my car, and I knew nothing about it. A neighbour had just come back from Las Vegas. The woman went down the stair in my estate, and she jet lag, and she had the light out, and she was watching this car park, and a car drew up. 2 guys come out with hoods on, but she couldn't see my car. There was a van blocking it. So she phoned the police, and she says, I think she didn't think anything of a bomb nature, anything sinister like that. She just thought that somebody was trying to steal a car. So the police came about 5 a.m, and they checked. No, can't see nothing. And she still wasn't convinced, and her man went out in the morning, Adam, and he went and looked under my car, and he's rang my bell, and I wouldn't answer it. I thought it was the police. The police were hounding me by this time, and he's shouting at me, and it's me, and I looked to it and he says, look, let me in. And he came up. He says, there's something under your car. Just a couple of months before it, there was a tracking device put under one of my pals' cars, my guy Star Keenan, and he found it. So they were the police were right on it at the time, and so were these other gangsters. So I was in a war with Strathclyde police and Glasgow gangsters, and what happened was, after the bomb and the Friday, Danny Dyer and all that, they just went like that. They says, look, we're finishing this film. It says it's becoming too heavy.
Too crazy.
It's too crazy, but it's about Deadliest Men. They says, Ian, this was about your past life, not about your present life. And I says to this young director guy, I says, keep the cameras rolling. I says, mate, I'm going to war here. I says,
you don't want to get blown up.
I says, make yourself a name. And he went, no. So I says, dirty shite bags, Danny Dyer. So they fucked off. So the Tuesday, the cops, the bomb squad and all that came up. They evacuated 14 houses for about 16 hours, and this device was made safe. I get told that if it went off, they'd have took half the building off.
So you're saying Danny Dyer's a shit house?
Yeah, I says a dirty shite bag. I says dirty shite bag, know what I mean? Send money to so what happened then in the Tuesday?
I would have done the same, Danny.
So, well, the Tuesday, I was walking my dog around the park. There was a park near me, and My mother was due back from Benidorm. I says, I'll take a walk down and see my mother. The police still had my car, the forensics. So my mum was only 5 minutes round the corner, and I saw this car kind of following me, and I went, something's not right here, it's a bit strange. But I never gave it a thought, and I went by Arthur Thompson's house, who I've mentioned before, the Godfather of Glasgow. I was only a minute past his house, and I just turned a corner and I felt, fuck you. And I got hit with a knife and I went flying. And the next minute there was 3 guys going, come on. And I'm stunned going, who the fuck are they 3? And they says, come on, you're supposed to be a gangster in Glasgow. And they psychologically defeated me. And I was walking backwards, and they didn't know if I had anything on me. I never had anything, because I thought the police were still watching because of this bombing up. And anyway, they had a fight with them. I could have ran. My mother said it was only a minute away. I've never ran away in my life. And they got me down in this church gate, and one of them was lying on my legs, and they were trying to cut my throat, and managed to, they got this scar here. And I walked round the corner and I was laughing. Honest, I was laughing. I says, fucking idiots. I says, if it was me, I says, I just fucking came from the back and done them. So I says, amateurs. So there was kids playing in the street and that. And they came on and gave us a tool. It looks no bad now, but half of my face was hanging off. It was quite bad. And I went to hospital, and I was in hospital for the Tuesday to the Thursday, plastic surgery, got my card back. I says, right, I'm going to fucking war here. And I was trying to find out who was behind this. And then the Friday, me and my pal were up in my flat, and 6 CID came up. And I thought they were up to see about the bomb or me being slashed. And they says, Ian, we're up to arrest you. And I says, you're up to arrest me? I says, what for? They says, well, tell me down to the station. I says, wait a minute, I thought I was a victim here. But I thought they'd maybe found something that I'd been saying, that a conspiracy to murder or something to get these people back. But when we got down to the police station, they were like, oh, it's for a breach of the peace. I says, a breach of the peace? And they wanted me to do a taped interview comment. I says, so what's the breach of the peace? And it was for a nightclub for 3 weeks before, where I was shouting outside and all that. And they went to the nightclub, and they got the manager and some of the bouncers. They were put up to it, by the way, with some of my rivals to say this, to get me off the streets. So the bombing was the Friday, slashed on the Tuesday, got out of hospital on the Thursday, arrested on the Friday. So I thought that was the end of my troubles. And the Sunday morning, 4 CID come up, and they weren't up to see me how my health was, or to take me to church. They says to me, listen, Ian, your car just got petrol bombed last night. And I says, where the fuck were you? And they just went, listen, we says, we don't want a gang war starting. And I went, it's fucking already started. They went, what? I says, it's fucking already started. I says, I'm no backing down to these people. And I went to court on the Monday, and they had me on this petition. It was a higher kind of a petition, usually a breach of the peace, a 3 month, 6 month, a fine or something. So they had me on this indictment thing, what they call it in Scotland. So my lawyer says, this is a joke. So when we got into court, the prosecutor was a young woman, and she started shouting, this man's got a terrible record, he's done it in the Old Bailey, he's done for a gun. Then she made a blunder and she went, he's also involved in a gangland war just now. And the sheriff, my lawyer's ready to jump up, and the sheriff just went, I'll talk to you later. She shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? And then my lawyer stood up and says, yes, he's got a terrible record, blah, 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 blah. But she's just went and says, this man's involved in a gangland war. Where's she getting this for? Newspapers. And the judge went, not a problem, bail. So I got in bail, and I went back up to my flat, up the penthouse flat, and the neighbours had all saw me get arrested. They went, did you get arrested with a gun or something? And I says, no. I says, they've done me with a breach of the peace. for 3 weeks ago. And so that was me. And no long after that, everything just crumbled. Everything I was up to, I had to stop. The police were right on me, and I knew I was going to get another 15 year.
To verify all this, we got the news headlines: plot to blow up, gangster blink, just don't blow up the motor. This is
that's a way back.
Yeah, back in 2009.
Yeah.
Wow.
Aye, so run about that time, 2009, May, June, and I was still up to everything, but the coppers were right on me in Glasgow, and I just decided to wind down my criminal activities, and I ended up losing the flats and all that. And I told Shaun earlier, I moved back into my mother's, and I says to myself, what am I going to do? And I went, why don't I write a book? But I never had a clue how to write a book. And I says to myself, right, my mother went to her bed at 9 o'clock after the soaps, and I'd be in the living room and I had A4 paper and all the wee yellow sticky notes, and I says, right, I've read loads of books in prison. I was in Boston when I was 16. I think Parole was the first book I'd read.
Papillon, yeah.
And so I says, right, I'll start from the beginning. And I wasn't very good on computers or that at the time. So I had A4 paper, and my back used to kill me. I'd sit there sometimes to 2 or 3 in the morning, maybe 4, and I would write down, right, I was born here. And because I'd been in prison for 14 and that, Private School, then Boston, and wee 3 months and 6 months and 18 months. So I knew the kind of dates where I was running about that time. So I started writing. So say I wrote 2,000 words one night. My boy Darrow, he was doing a college course in media studies, and he would come up, and the 2,000 words I wrote would go into the room. He'd bring his wee laptop up, and 3,000 words, and before you know it, we're doing chapters. And before you know it, 180,000 words. I didn't know what that was, right? I just didn't have a clue. And the reason I was being able to do this is because I was staying in, I wasn't going out. I used to have a flat, see, before I moved to the penthouse flat in Hugginfield Lock, I had a trendy flat in the West End across the art galleries, and I had that much money. And people used to come up and I used to say, sit down, have a wine and a line and shut up. I was spending $5,000 a week on cocaine. And in the back bedroom was like Haddles. Haddles is like a 101 or off licence. So I had great parties up there for 18 months. And so anyway, the book, I was trying to get it published myself. I was writing to different places, big company, John Blake and different places, and they weren't taking me on. So there was a guy, David Leslie, he worked for the News of the World for 40 years, so he'd been doing stories. I mean, I knew him well, and I had a word with him, and I says, David, and he says, look, and he went, and he had a look at the stuff, and he went, for Christ's sake, he says, 189,000 words. He says, do you know what a book is? A book comprises of? And I says, no. I says, he says, a book's 80,000, 100,000 words. I says, well, okay then. I says, I want to do 3 books, a trilogy. And he went, no. He says, look, if I can get you a deal with mainstream, he'd brought about 6 books out before, David. And he says to me, if I can get a book out, it's just going to be the 1 book. And I says to him, okay then. Not a problem. And so that's what happened. David says, you've more or less wrote the book yourself. He says, just go, you come, pick me up at his house once a week, and I would talk into tapes, and before you know it, it was done. But see, while I was on that subject, just before the book came out, about a year or 2 before the book came out, 2010, 2011, I get the opportunity to go down and see Ronnie Biggs,
The
the
bank
great
robber.
train robber.
Yeah.
And the way that came about, David and another guy, Brian Anderson, who's a brilliant photographer, by the way, he's got a thing up in Glasgow. I think it's something, Private Eyes or something. So it was in the paper that I'd been invited in, but Brian, the photographer, had connections with, he was going about doing this Faces of the Underworld with Bernard Mahoney, and while he was meeting everybody, he'd met Ronnie Biggs' son, and Ronnie Biggs only came back home to get treatment and all that, and he was in a care home in Barnet, and he says, look, he says, I can arrange for a meeting. And David says, it'd be a good story, you could meet him. So David Leslie came up with Brian Anderson, and we drove down to London, and we were granted an interview with him. And I was talking to him, and finally David says to me, he says, ask him, is he get anything to do with the great train robbery? Right? And I said, and he couldn't talk at the time, Ronnie Biggs. He was really bad at the time. And I know a lot of people probably say, oh, you met him when he's an old man, but I still met Ronnie Biggs, you know what I mean?
The Americans, a lot of them probably don't know who Ronnie Biggs is. You want to just give a little explanation?
Ronnie Biggs was part of a gang who robbed a Glasgow to Euston London train, £2 million, a used banknotes, and they were given the biggest sentences at that time, 30 years and stuff like that. So when I mentioned Mick Keeley then wearing the bank robbers, 31 years.
Did someone die on
the train robber was caught. That was the only bad thing about it. The train robber was caught, and he died about 6 years later, and they blamed it on that.
Oh, I see.
But Ronnie Biggs became, he wasn't one of the main men, by the way, but he got put in the robbery, but he became the most famous or infamous one of them all, because when he was in was it Wormwood Scrubs, or was it, there's other prisons in, there's Wormwood Scrubs, Brixton, and
that he escaped from.
He escaped from a prison.
Yeah.
And he was on the run, and he went to Australia, then he went to Brazil, and he was on the run for about 30 years, and people were going over to Brazil, and he was making money doing tours. And
because by marrying a Brazilian woman, they couldn't extradite him.
That's right. He married a Brazilian woman, and what happened is a team fair here came here, and I thought this was bad news. They came here and they kidnapped Ronnie Biggs, this guy John Miller and that, and they took him to Barbados, and he was held in Barbados for about 6 weeks, and it came out that his wife, that girl he was seeing for Brazil, she came forward and says, look, I'm having a baby. So the Brazilian authorities went, no extradition.
Wow.
Because he was ready to go. If it wasn't for this thing where
even the Sex Pistols went out there, didn't they?
And he did a song, mate. He became really, really famous. So he did, and they were a notorious gang. So I had the pleasure of meeting them, so I did. And it was off down to Brian, really. And so before I forget, David Leslie, Tinnabook, says to me, ask him, did he have anything to do with the great train robbery? And you know what he says? He couldn't talk of that about this time, and he had a wee marker board. They went, I'm no a grass. And for the American audience, grass is no grass weeds, grass is snitch. And that was the kind of it. We thought that was funny. So,
and how are you surviving these days, Ian?
I'm just going about my life normal. Just I'm on benefits and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not into crime at all. I wouldn't even get into a garage and steal a Mars bar now. And
you're not getting millions of dollars from your book.
No, I know you're for yours, right? And I'm sure. But no, it's a thing, mate. The book we mainstream. David, we went 60-40, and a lot of people think that I've made fortunes out of this book. I've not. And the reason I done the book was it wasn't for monetary purposes. Yeah. It was just to get my story out.
Yeah.
And the cowards that attacked me as well, I never named anybody or anything like that in the book. But I still get royals today, and I says to Shaun yesterday, he says, I get £70 a book.
Every 6 months?
Every
$100 every 6 months?
So the book went out of production. It messed me up, so it did. The book, it was a mainstream publishing, and after, this has come out in 2012, and about 2014, 15, they just chucked it. But you can still get this book now on Kindle. And it's £4 odds.
Yeah, what people out there watching this are thinking, how can they support you? And if they buy this book, he's only going to make a few pence. But what I'm thinking is, we could perhaps help you get a new edition of this book out. Right. You said you wrote almost 200,000 words, a long one.
I've still got a lot of one.
And maybe even an audio version, Kindle, and a new paperback, and we could figure something out where you get a lot more royalties than you've been making. Mm-hmm. Is there any other ways people could support you, or have you got any final message that you'd like to say to the people watching this on YouTube?
Just final message. I'm a man of peace now, and I've got a council house. I've come right away down for me when I used to have money, and people in Glasgow still think that I've got money and all that, but I'm no materialistic anymore and all that, and I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy still to be alive. And I just met a young girl at 32 years of age. And can I finish this story after when I met her? She was working in a sunbed shop, and I was going in and I didn't even think she liked me or that. And so anyway, got a first date with her, and on the first date we went to 3 cocktail bars in Glasgow, and we came out the last bar. It was called the Anchoring at George Square. The next minute my hands were up. Well, it was a good takedown, by the way. And they says, Sam, please, have you got a gun on you? I says, hi, stood my trousers and be firing bullets, be firing blanks. After this. And this wee couple walked to her, and I thought they were from London, a wee London tourist couple or something. And they says, this guy went, I'm Gary, I'm Detective Sergeant Gary, whatever his name, for the anti-organised crime unit. He says, we've been told you've got a gun, blah, 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 blah. I says, I've not got any gun. And in the car, he says, look, we're going to take you up to your house to search it. And I went, do you not take me to the police station? He says, no, I've had the warrant for a few days, so they must have been following me. And in the car, it was comedy errors. They took me into this car, and the other armed police were behind us and all that. And then it was May weekend. It was just this year. And the lassie I was with, it was the first time I was out there, and she's shouting, don't shout, Ian, don't shout. I says, Christ, all the cocktails I'd had that night, zooming right out me, and became sober. And because I knew it was a serious thing that they were going to arrest me for. And I was going, so they says in the car, and they says, you've got a gun, you got a plastic gun? I says, I've no gun. I says, where did this come from? They says, oh, I'll be explained up in your flat. I says, well, I've got a warrant, we'll show you. It was an intelligence-led operation. So I says to this guy Gary in the back, I says, listen, I may as well be straightforward with you. I says, I've got a bit of cocaine in my pocket here. And he says, not interested. And I says, so if there's nothing found in the flat, I won't be kept in for the weekend. He went, nah. So I says, when the two of you first came over, I says, I thought you were the tourist couple. And the woman in the front says, I want to stick about in him. And he went, hey, one of you have not got a girlfriend? And the guy who was driving, it says, come on now, children, freaking cool down. This is serious. So there's good cops and bad cops everywhere, and bad prison officers and good prison officers everywhere. And these seem to be no bad cops. So we were driving up to the car, driving up the house, they even drove by and I had to say reverse back. So we went up to the house and they showed me the warrant. And they says, right, this is Sheriff Finlay, 2nd of May, solely for firearms. They says, we're going to switch your camera on, just keep your mouth shut, and that's it. And I says before it, I says, there's another thing, and they took the cocaine out of my pocket and they put it on the table, and they says, what's Sarah? I says, a gram. And one of the young officers went, oh, come on here, there's about 2 or 3 gram. And I says, you would probably know, you're snorting it yourself, mate. So I'd say to him, look, before you put the camera on, I says, I think I've got a wee £10 bit of hash in the back bedroom, and that's it. He says, well, look, don't you mention it. And halfway through it, I became drunk again. I shouted, what about the £10 bit of hash that's in the bedside cabinet? And they all went, shh. So anyway, they done me a turn. They says, Ian, we're not going to wreck your house and that. And they were true to their word. Christ, I get 5 bags of Clenny bags, they call them black bags in Scotland. Excess stuffs, they done me a favour, I threw them out. And so they came in and they went, Ian MacDonald, we're going to report you, Procurator Frisco, what looks like cannabis and cocaine. They switched your camera off and they went, bye. I went, bye? Christ, what's going on here? So they were only in the flat just over an hour, and I phoned the first date up from my kitchen, and I says to her, I says, by the way, I says, that's me thing, mate. And they went, she says, are you phoning for the police station with one of the phones you can sneak into? And I went, no, I says, I'm in my kitchen. And she's jumped down. So to this day, I'm still there. And her name's Ashley Larinsky, and she comes from Bermulloch. And she's a great lassie, so she is. And thing, we just found out a couple of months ago she's pregnant.
Wow, congratulations.
And so I just get about Glasgow. I walk about all over the place and just, that's it.
What a happy note to end this on then. You know, the love of a good woman and you're going to have a kid.
Yeah.
So out there in YouTube land, I haven't even begun with Ian's early prison stories before and his crime stories before the bank robbery. So if you guys would like to see Ian on the channel again, coming back and doing all these early years, there's loads of stuff yet to go over. Please put that in the comments section. If you've got any other podcast guests you'd like to suggest to come on that's got prison or crime experiences, I would appreciate that. You know, looking to get a lot more podcasts out this year now. And we appreciate all of your love and support. And thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
for coming on. Cheers. Yeah.